Edmonton Sports Talk. My God, I loved it. My name's Jay Milne. #Group. Our sports update deliverer. The Coon.
I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up today.
You know what, Reid? You might be honest. All right, here's what's going on in the Nasty Chat.
It's the show that's more guaranteed fun than a game of roulette. Whew. The Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports. How's everybody doing today? Great to speak with you the day before Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final. An alleged off day for the Edmonton Oilers. One of the things we'll discuss throughout the course of the afternoon. Head coach Kris Knoblauch did give us some new audio today. We're going to have a couple of outstanding guests on the program this afternoon. At about 3:40, so in 39 minutes, Luke Gazdic will join us. Of course, he's a weekly guest here on Edmonton Sports Talk, either on this show or on the Nielsen Show from 6 to 9 a.m. every day. And our buddy Marty Biron, former NHL goaltender, now with MSG Network, will check in at about 20 after 4. We got a brand new feature to announce on the show today. We got a lot of our regular segments. We'll have some fun with buying or selling. I think we're going to have a very active response to our off-topic topic, which we'll get to here in the opening minutes of the show. Thanks for joining us, everybody. He's Jay. I'm Reid. You can get in touch by texting the River Career Resort and Casino inbox. Don't lower your chair that much. Remember, apparently on the very first show we did, my chair was comically low, and I didn't even realize that.
Yes.
Now I always make sure I raise it all the way up. All the way up. The afternoon inbox, 780-218-9999, presented by River Career Resort and Casino, home of Tap 25 Restaurant, where the entire menu is 50% off 7 days a week from 2 to 5 p.m. You can email jay@edmontonsportstalk.com, reid@edmontonsportstalk.com. That is often where people submit limericks to the show. We already have Bronco Nix coming in. We'll read them. We'll read his and others a little bit later on, and you can chat with us, more importantly, with each other. If you're taking us in on YouTube, we have our the chat function. We call it the Nasty Chat. You can jump in there and get some dialogue going as well. And if you are on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. We did get over 200 yesterday, 201, when I checked last night. It wasn't live. It was after the fact, but it was a 200 thumb show. But we have hit 200.
We did it.
We did it. Let's get going, everybody. Let's click the thumbs up. Let's get the vibe going. I know it's weird. I know we wish that the games were every second day. I know we wish the season didn't go past, June. Well, I think ideally the season wouldn't go past May 31st, but it does. So I know it's weird having hockey again for the second straight year when it's light out till almost 11 o'clock. But that shouldn't stop you from going in there and doing a little thumb. Giving us a little happy click, a little bit of like.
Click, click, click. Must you click? Please, please click. Must you click? You must click. Thumb.
All right. So thanks a lot for joining us this afternoon. Yes, Jared, we will have the play of the day today. What were you doing? We're doing play of the day at about 3:20, 3:25 today?
Yeah.
A little earlier because Luke's on at 3. Usually do it around 3:40, but sometimes it's shifted by 20 minutes or so. So, all right. I will fully admit that this is perhaps not a massive story, but it is the Stanley Cup Final, and it is the Edmonton Oilers, the number one story in this market for, quite frankly, the last 2 months. No disrespect to everything else going on, and there are big news stories. I get that, but day after day, the Oilers are the biggest story in Edmonton, especially now that they're in the Stanley Cup Final. So things get analyzed and maybe overanalyzed, but I do think it's worth pointing out that the Oilers did something today that they said they weren't going to do. Do you know what that is, Jay? I'll give you a hint. It does not involve groceries.
Ooh, so I was going to say, did they go for Italian instead of steak?
They could have, but that's not the story.
What is the story, Reid?
So the Oilers had a fairly well-attended practice today. If you saw what Gene Principe posted on X, they had 16 players on the ice for what was supposed to be, well, I guess an optional practice, even though Knoblauch kind of said it would be. Okay, here's the thing. There's always ice available, right? Like if even if a team has an off day, there's ice available.
Sure.
If somebody wants to skate or an injured player is rehabbing or guys who play very few minutes or the Black Aces who are always scratched and likely always to be scratched, barring a bunch of injuries, where they can skate, right, and get their ice time in and get their work in and all that kind of stuff. So there's always ice available. So even if a team says it's an off day, there could be players on the ice. But it's, okay, let's play. Here's what Kris Knoblauch said yesterday, okay, because about having a practice yesterday and then what they were going to do today.
Just with our schedule, it was, I guess, we weren't 100% sure what we were going to do after the game, after we thought about it exactly what we wanted to do. So it was better to practice, then take the day off, and then have the pregame skate and kind of break it up a little bit and not be on the ice all the time. And then we find the 8 o'clock games just a long time not to be on the ice. So having the day off the day before, and then that's our plan.
All right, so that was the plan. That was yesterday. Things change. But correct me if I'm wrong. Knoblauch's logic was, and plus they got killed in Game 3. When was that? Monday? I don't even know what day it was. Monday. So they sucked. So probably, too, they want to be, okay, let's get back on the ice. But he's also selling there. Okay, so it's almost like he was counting backwards from Thursday.
Yes.
It's an 8 p.m. game Thursday. That's later than the 6 o'clock games we have at home. So people will probably want to be on the ice for the morning skate. So then we'll take Wednesday off and we'll skate Tuesday. So we break up when we're on the ice and we kind of get a day off in the middle. Is that the logic he was presenting there?
That would be fair to say, yes.
Okay. So then, apparently somewhat unexpectedly to a lot of the people in Sunrise and in Fort Lauderdale, the Oilers had a pretty highly, and it's significant that McDavid and Draisaitl are on the ice, because it seems to me if you're talking about players that you want to keep off the ice and give a break, it would be those two guys. Who needs a day off? The guys that play a lot. But then this morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Mountain, Kris Knoblauch did an availability just over Zoom. Didn't even meet anybody in person. And here's what he said today about what was going to happen today.
Today is a optional skate. So guys will get a light workout here at the hotel, or they have the option to go skate. Don't want our high minute guys being on the ice. The other night we had a full team practice yesterday, and then be on the ice again. We will have a morning skate, full team morning skate tomorrow before the game. So I think it's good for the majority of the guys to get away from the rink for a little bit. We had a meeting yesterday. So today's pretty much a day off away from hockey for the majority of the guys. So that's our plan today.
Okay, so what do you think of this? Now, look, I fully admit, yes, we are talking about practice, but it is the Stanley Cup final. And Knoblauch, he said yesterday that the plan was, well, let's give guys a break in between the days they're on the ice. And he said this morning in that clip, did he not say we don't want our high-minute guys certainly on the ice? Well, who was out on the ice today is McDavid and Draisaitl. Now, Knoblauch can't stop them from practicing if they want to practice. But am I making, and I don't think I'm making a mountain out of a molehill, but perhaps it is a noticeable size molehill. What do you think about all this?
I'd say if they want to skate, if they want to get their legs moving, get their legs pumping, the blood flowing, all the power to them. It's an optional skate. If they were nicked or had nagging injuries, then you'd say, yeah, okay, maybe you should probably just sit this one out. If you want to get on the ice and skate, go on the ice and skate. It is what it is. And I actually kind of like it when the two leaders of this team are saying, okay, we're going to go out there and take part in this optional skate. You rarely see that. Now, I think the biggest issue here is that nobody was notified about it. Nobody that's covering that series down there, for the most part, or at least what we presume and what we've read, was notified of it. And the question then is raised, well, why? Who was responsible for not notifying them? Were the players saying, hey, we don't want any media there? Was it the organization saying we don't want any media there? We don't know that. But that's the odd thing to me, was that this was not presented as, okay, now it was an optional skate. And Reid, tell me this, when it is an optional skate, do they tell you who's skating that day as a member of the media? Or did they just say, or do you just assume that most time it's the black aces and the people that aren't, getting heavy minutes like
I would assume it's usually the people who aren't getting heavy minutes, though you never know. And sometimes you might be told ahead of time, hey, it doesn't look like these guys are going to be on the ice today.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that you could look at and say, is this concerning, or is this just, are we over, hyping this or giving this too much attention? I don't know. What I can tell you is that I appreciate that Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl were out there skating. To me, that looks like two guys that just want to keep their legs going. And maybe they felt, hey, we need to work on this and this and this and make the most of this optional skate so that we're fully prepared for tomorrow's game.
Right.
That's how I view it.
Right.
But there's, I know there's I'd say there's members of the media that I think are pissed off about this.
Yeah, probably. And I'm not there, so I can't say how it was handled. And I see people in the nasty chat basically saying, screw you, Reid, and screw all your colleagues. We don't care if your feelings are hurt. My feelings aren't hurt.
No.
First of all, it's curious that they from handling the fatigue perspective, that they went against what Knoblauch was doing.
Yes.
Okay. I'll give you a little bit of inside knowledge about perhaps why some people I don't work with them as co-workers at the same company.
Yeah, you cover this team.
I'll give you some inside knowledge I'll give my perspective, solely my perspective on why maybe people might be upset who cover the team. Okay. Earlier this week, the NHL dictated that Connor and Leon spoke together on an off day. And usually for interview purposes or for, keeping the big names in the articles and in the clips, the most media people would prefer McDavid one day, Draisaitl the next day.
Yeah.
And they were basically told, no, we're not going to accommodate their request. We're going to roll them out together. Okay, fair enough. And then a day like this happens where they're told, yeah, it's a day off. Likely nobody's skating, so nobody's going to talk. And then they're both on the ice. Right? So it's kind of like, and then I believe from what I've heard when this was brought up to the NHL, it's like, well, why didn't you tell us this was going to happen? Well, we can't control what they do. Okay, so you can control what they do when you want to control it, and then you can shrug your shoulders. So I don't expect people to care about this, and I'm not asking for sympathy for me or Rashog or Speck or anybody. Quite frankly, if you don't care about those people, fine. I don't care that you don't care about those people. But if you want my knowledge...
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit on the inside, that's what I'm telling you. And I get it to the people saying, well, it only matters, because these people wanted the clips in the media for their articles. Who is consuming those clips in their articles? So the reason a media person would be mad about it is because they're guarding against a precedent being set. And then as time goes on, they get fewer and fewer opportunities to ask questions to the big guys who the people care about. Right?
Which is fair. I mean, they're just trying to do their job. And by what you said there, that's a little bit of a double standard that the NHL had set there.
Right.
Which, these guys they're just trying to do their job.
Right.
And who consumes it? Everybody watching, everybody listening.
Right.
That's what you want. You want to have everything. You want to have the up-to-date, the most information you can have. Now, was it something where... Oilers players said, hey, we don't want to have to answer any questions today.
I doubt it.
Right?
I don't think that they would say that. They more or less go with whatever.
But to me, the story here is that you have your team leaders on the ice on an optional skate the day before the biggest games of their career.
That's another way to look at it, that they're saying, hey, this isn't just a day for the peons to try to get better. It's also a day for us to get a little better.
Absolutely.
I don't know how long they were out there. Again, I'm not there. Maybe they went out there for 20 minutes. Maybe they didn't skate that hard. Maybe they just wanted to get out of the sun and feel like hockey players.
Exactly.
Maybe they'd energize them. Maybe they got more energy out of a short skate than 30 minutes on the beach or whatever. You know? Like they're trying to keep their minds active as well.
Well, yeah, I like it. I see that as competitors competing and wanting to make sure they're ready to go.
Right.
If they feel that getting on the ice today was how they're going to handle that. I mean, I saw in that one clip, Trent Frederick was on the ice. I mean, it was 16 players supposedly that were there. Hey, if you feel you need that at this stage of the game, do it. Do what's best for you. Absolutely.
Right. So I find it interesting. I find it interesting that, again, they sort of didn't do what the coach said they were going to do. So was that part of the plan? Did Knoblauch know they were going to do that? Or did a bunch of players just say, guys, let's get out there? Like, I'm sick. I hate the sand. I hate the humidity. We're not going to blow ourselves. We're not going to exhaust ourselves if we go for a quick skate. That's what we do every day anyway. That's all.
Well, and who were two players that were called out last game? Certainly one was Leon Draisaitl.
Right.
I mean, maybe they just wanted to walk through. I don't know. But it's never a bad thing if you have the two best players in the world wanting to get a little bit extra time in on the ice together.
Right. And then from the other standpoint, and if people have seen what Rashog and Speck tweeted, I'm just giving you my read on that.
Absolutely.
I'm not asking for sympathy or anybody. If we're going to talk about something, we're going to talk about it from as many angles as we can. That's the angle that I have for that. Okay? I'm not personally mad about it. I'm not there.
Yeah, I mean, you're just presenting the other side of a story that has become a story that wasn't necessarily meant to be a story.
Right. So anyway, that's what's going on there. We will get to some more clips from Kris Knoblauch today about possible lineup changes and a couple of other things.
We should have had the Allen Iverson clip ready.
Practice. We're talking about practice.
We're talking about practice?
Yeah. What was the thing that he missed practice or didn't work very hard at practice? Like that was like 25 years.
He was called out for his lack of give a you-know-what during practice. And I think he was disciplined by the team for maybe sitting out of practice or missing a practice.
Right.
And he pretty much said, we're talking about practice. Like, look at me on the court during the game when it matters. Mm-hmm. And we're here sitting talking about practice?
Yeah. It's a different. I don't know what the whole basketball culture is with optionals and practices. In hockey, certainly players who play a lot and who maybe more veteran players would take the option.
Yeah, like look at Dennis Rodman
certainly the less you play and the younger you are. I won't say who it was. But in my tenure covering the Oilers, there was a backup goaltender who thought he could take the option.
Joaquin Gate?
And he was, the information I received is that he was quite bluntly told, no, you're the backup goalie. The guys who are on the ice need at least one goaltender to shoot on. They don't need two empty nets. You're not at the point in your career where you take the option.
Oh, really?
So optional is...
What's optional for some?
Yeah, that's the thing. And again, if you're on the fourth line and healthy and not playing a lot, maybe there's a little more expectation that you would be out there.
Well, Cass, who's on Two Guys and a Goalie in the GCL Diesel pregame show, postgame show, Matt Cassian, he's alluded to the optional skate before as not really being optional for players such as himself.
Right. Yeah, that's
right?
the thing.
There's some players
usually
it isn't.
know. Certainly, I'm not saying, well, if you're on the fourth line, hey, if you're on the fourth line and your knee got banged up or you were in a fight and then maybe, sure. And there are some players, I mean, I think he might be a little different this year, but Darnell Nurse would usually take an optional. Adam Larson would pretty much always be on the ice. Like you couldn't keep him away from the rink when he was here.
Right.
So some players are just different. But the fact that Draisaitl and McDavid were out there, okay, so the fact that Draisaitl and McDavid were out there today and that 16 players were out there today when it was supposed to be a day off and or an optional, depending on which Knoblauch quote you want to believe. I do think that's a little bit of note.
Sure, it is.
At least a little bit. Whether it was covered or interviews or not, that's just the other side information I gave you. But that is something, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's a positive thing.
Think the Panthers are taking note of that and would have a reaction?
I think they would take note to seeing that Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl were on for an optional skate, yes, and wonder what's going on or why or what they're scheming up. Maybe they're scheming up a secret play.
Secret plays.
Yeah.
New playbook.
Yeah. Why not?
They're rolling out a new playbook.
Maybe that's why the media wasn't there. Secret plays.
All right. How's your mood today?
My mood is fantastic.
How do you think mine is? Do I seem okay?
You seem wonderful. You seem like Reid. You seem like yourself.
I seem like myself.
Yeah.
That's nice to hear. I was a little irritated at the start of yesterday's show.
Mm.
I had a lot of fun at the start of yesterday. Maybe we'll replay part of that as we move along throughout the afternoon.
My ab muscles at the top here were sore this morning because I was laughing so hard.
I gave you a workout.
Oh my gosh, did you ever? That was brilliant. That was SD worthy.
I gave you a workout.
Sure.
Well, we'll see. We'll see about that. Look, the reason that I went to that extent of mockery and satire or whatever you want to call it was that I felt that there were people blowing something out of proportion in the third period, how the Oilers acted in the third period.
Yes.
The story was their lack of discipline in the first two periods, not so much a lopsided game having fights in it. That's what I was saying, like, welcome to hockey. So that's why I was sort of like, oh my God, like, oh, there was a fight in a 5-1 game. What's going on? Poor Florida getting picked on. So that stuff like that sets me off sometimes, where it's like, come on, people, you're ignoring logic here. So our off-topic topic is kind of inspired by that. The off-topic topic presented by William Huff. Since 1952, William Huff has provided industry-leading advertising solutions for thousands of valued clients. Their unparalleled customer service, combined with decades of industry expertise and a desire to make every job the very best it can be, is what they call the William Huff Advantage. Visit their website at williamhuff.com or give them a shout, 780-454-4536. What is something that always irritates you and or puts you in a bad mood, and why? What is something that always irritates you and or puts you in a bad mood, and why?
Ooh.
I think this will be a fun one.
Do you got one that comes to mind, or do you want to save it?
Well, I think I sort of that is sort of mine.
Lack of common sense,
like a lack of common sense, or blowing something out of proportion.
awareness.
Yeah.
Well, I like to think of myself as a pretty positive guy. I mean, you've been working across the table for me for long enough to kind of get an idea of who I am.
Right.
I'm generally pretty positive, right?
I would say so. You're very positive. You're very supportive. You try to be upbeat. I mean, I think you're realistic, but I think you tend to lean towards let's get going.
There's one thing that I cannot stand. That it just turns me into a different person. And that is if I'm driving in the car, sometimes by myself. Well, if by myself, it's a problem. And I hear a rattle or some sort of an unknown noise in the back.
Okay.
This is a 7-seat SUV I drive.
Right.
So there's a large space, cavernous space behind me that's empty.
Okay.
And I hear a rattle or a sound, and I just can't unhear it. And I don't know what it is. I can't exactly go back there. I'm driving. That just tweaks me in a way, Reid. I don't know why. But foreign sounds in a vehicle, not from the engine or not from your tires, there's something rattling in the pocket of the seat. Or, I've got 3 daughters. We travel in that thing a lot. There's God knows what in the back seat at any given time.
Right.
And if it's just making a repetitive noise, oh, baby, that gets me. It gets me every time.
That's a pretty good one, actually, because I can see how you just be having a calm day, and then you're probably trying to ignore it at first, and you just can't. Yeah.
No, I've pulled over and gone through the back and been like, oh, this is what it was. And that's even the worst thing. When you think you found out what the noise was, and you remedy it, and you're like, oh, thank goodness. Get back in the car and you start driving. Ding, ding, ding. No! It gets me.
Oh, that is a good one. All right. 780-218-9999 is how you can text the River Crew Resort Casino inbox. You can email Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, Jay at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, or you can post in the nasty chat on YouTube. Keep clicking the thumbs up button on YouTube. Give us a like if you haven't already. 1/4 of the way to our goal of 200. So a decent start, because we're only about, we're less than half an hour in the show, but don't slow down. If you haven't clicked, get in there and click. Share the link with other people. Say, hey, check out this show. Check out Edmonton Sports Talk. Give them a thumbs up. Everybody's happy. You know who's generally a happy, positive dude?
Who's that?
The Coop.
On the court, Indiana hosts OKC as they clash for Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Tip-off is at 6:30 with the series tied after 2 games. Out east, Drew Brown of the Red Blacks will not dress this week with an apparent hip injury reported by 3 Down Nation. Matt Schiltz takes a start for Ottawa as they visit Montreal on Friday. In baseball, the Jays beat the Cards 5-2 with Toronto sweeping their 3-game series. They get set to face the Phillies on Friday. 3 other games are live, having the Dodgers and Padres tied at 1 apiece in the 5th. The Mariners down 5-2 against the D-backs in the top of the 7th, while the Athletics hold the Angels 3-0 in the 4th. Other Jays news has Nathan Lukes hit the 10-day injured list with a concussion, while 40-year-old Max Scherzer is set to start for Toronto's AAA affiliate as he nears a return from the 60-day injured list. And the Riverhawks are 5-2 facing the Falcons at 6:35. Edmonton picking up a 4-1 win in their series opener last night. Kelowna 2-8 on the season. This sports update is brought to you by Find Edmonton. Find takes your unused furniture and home goods to help those moving out of homelessness. Get donations picked up or drop them off free of charge. Visit findedmonton.com or call them at 780-988-1717. A brief intermission before the Reid Wilkins Show rolls on. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
2 guys and a goalie.
When was the first moment, aside from the game taking the penalties, where you both realized that the Florida Panthers were just completely tipped Edmonton over the edge mentally?
Oh, like mentally. Oh. Good question, Cass. I mean, had that happened in the first 40 minutes?
I would say it was, to me, just from what I watched, it was the Klingberg.
2 guys and a goalie, presented by GS Construction. Tuesday and Thursday afternoons at noon, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Friday's just got a whole lot more fun. Spin the wheel at the Banquet for your shot to win big and save on your bill. Spin, win, save. It's that easy. Details at thebanquetbar.com. The Banquet. Get real. Play hard.
GCL Diesel has been serving oil country since 1972. From diesel cars to SUVs to pickups. From farm tractors to school buses to a big rig. From diesel generators to forklifts, GCL can test, troubleshoot, and repair all diesel fuel system components. Whether it's injectors, pumps, turbos, filters, or additive, GCL has the parts you need to keep your diesel running the way it should. For genuine diesel parts at wholesale prices, visit GCL Diesel in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel. Diesel understood.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Time out, Edmonton. The new Play Alberta app has arrived, and it's here to make your gambling experiences more fun, exciting, and secure. Enjoy the convenience of hundreds of casino games, betting live on your favorite sports teams, and access to lotteries all in one place anywhere in Alberta. Enter code YEG50 to receive a $50 free bet when you make a $5 minimum deposit. That's a $50 free bet for new and existing users using code YEG50. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Keep your team jersey and rally towel close by and help bring the championship home. For all your other treasures, store them with Sentinel Storage. Store Canadian. Try 4 weeks free at sentinelstorage.ca. Proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
Show. How you doing, everybody? Luke Gazdic is going to join us in about 10 minutes. Our off-topic topic for William Huff is tell us something that always irritates you or gets you in a bad mood. I saw there's a few coming in the nasty chat. I missed who it was now, but this was a good one. Trying to plug something in when you can't see the socket. Wouldn't that just ruin your day? Or if it's a piece of something electronic and you got it set up or you got something downloaded or you need it charged, where do I have a plug? Oh, yeah.
It's terrible.
Oh, yeah, just that one over. Where is it? Where? You telling me I'm going to have to move the entire buffet to reach the plug-in? That was a good one.
Penner's Pancake, late mergers that go literally right up to the sign and then try to cut in. Yeah, we've seen them. Deutschland Dangler. When I grab the cereal out of the pantry and the kids have left an empty bag with 3 crumbs in it.
Well, in their minds, it wasn't done.
And Mex Bezozu, guy beside me in the office have their ringtone on full volume, phone blowing up every 5 minutes. Thank God for noise-canceling headphones. And Big Uke. That one mosquito that buzzes around your head right as you're trying to fall asleep.
Oh, that's a good one too.
That's the worst, especially at night, and you're trying to slap it, and you just end up slapping yourself.
Right.
Numerous times. We've all been there.
Pretty good. Keep those coming in. We thought this would be a fun one for sure. Jay and I are coming to you from the Banquet Studio. Craving a late night snack? Check out the Banquet's new late night happy hour menu, Sunday to Thursday, 9 p.m. until close. Enjoy favorites like sweet and spicy lettuce wraps or the Banquet burger at happy hour prices. The Banquet, get real, play hard. All right, we're going to give away a couple of tickets in the next, in about 4 or 5 minutes. We have a couple of tickets to the Canadian Brewhouse Bone-In Steak Night coming up Saturday, June 21st at 6 p.m. We'll tell you a little bit more about that. What are you laughing at? What happened?
This one just gets me because I've been there. John Carlo in the nasty chat, grabbing a tub of ice cream, and you find leftovers inside. You know, sometimes you use an old ice cream tub to put in your
there's ribs in there or something. Why would they be in the freezer?
Just the worst.
Well, I guess.
Like soup. You know, you could use it. They're actually really good containers, but that is one. That is a good one. Just get you. Like, gosh darn it. When all you want is some Rocky Road ice cream and you find grandma's turkey soup. Terrible.
Well,
I mean,
the turkey soup could be good.
It could be, but you can't do anything with it because it's frozen.
Well, good point.
Even if you wanted something, you're still like, well, I'm still screwed.
That's funny. We're getting some good ones coming in. We'll revisit that as we move along throughout the course of the show.
It's Jay, it's play, he's Jay, it's today. It's Jay's play of the day. It's Jay's play of the day. Jay's play of the day.
And it is presented by Play Alberta. Make your bets count for you and everyone else with the Play Alberta app with hundreds of player prop bets on the biggest leagues, NFL, CFL, NHL, NBA, MLB, you name it. You're not just playing for fun. You're supporting your province. Play Alberta revenue helps fund Alberta programs and services. Deposit today with promo code YEG50 and get an EST exclusive $50 free bet to get started. I was talking a couple of days ago how my buddy went to the wheelchair rugby nationals in Montreal. I believe there was some funding through Play Alberta that helped the Alberta team get to that tournament.
Well, there you go.
So there you go. All right, what's your play of the day, my friend?
Simple, Reid. Simple. Going to the NBA, or as some refer to it as, the NUBA. Just taking OKC. I think they, look, Indiana might get one more win, but I don't think it's coming tonight. I think Oklahoma City's just too strong, too consistent. And I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is playing out of this world. Right? Oklahoma City Thunder to win by 5 or more points. That was minus 125, as they are the favorite, obviously. But the good people at Play Alberta have boosted that to minus 112, so you're almost at even money. That's Jay's play of the day. Oklahoma City Thunder to win by 5+ points. You can find that at playalberta.ca. Click on EST specials. You'll see several other specials. Dusty's got a play on the baseball play. Lock Shop Partner Parlay has a U.S. Open play. That's a big one, plus 2,300. And the Grand EST Parlay, I always like looking at this one. These crazy people. It's not so crazy today. Atletico Ottawa to win, and the Minnesota Twins to win, Detroit Tigers to win. That was boosted to 400, plus 400.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
There you go.
Good stuff. That's Jay's play of the day.
It's Jay, it's play, he's Jay, it's today. It's Jay's play of the day. It's Jay's play of the day. Jay's play of the day.
All right, we're also going to give away a pair of tickets to the upcoming Canadian Brewhouse Bone-In Steak Night. It's on June 21st. You can go to any CBH excluding the Ice House and the airport. So any CBH excluding the Ice House and the airport. It's 6 p.m. Saturday, June 21st. Treat yourself to a 32-ounce AAA bone-in strip loin dinner, perfectly cooked and served with potato gratin, asparagus, steak sauce, and cowboy butter. Tickets usually $50 plus tax. So we're giving away 2 tickets for free. They also have bottles of Budweiser for $6.99. It comes with a trivia question, and we are only accepting guesses submitted through the River Crew Resort and Casino inbox, texting 780-218-9999. I thought I got to test people. Who was the manager of the Edmonton Trappers in 1983 and 1984? It was the same guy. Who was the manager of the Edmonton Trappers in 1983 and 1984? Jay will keep an eye on the text line, and the first person to do it gets the Canadian Brewhouse tickets to go to the Bone-In Steak Night on the 21st.
Are potatoes gratin? Aren't they just scalloped potatoes?
Well, there's cheese involved, right? Because gratin is cheese.
Isn't there cheese in scalloped potatoes, or is it just
I don't know.
cream?
I'm not a big potato guy.
I like scalloped potatoes. I've never known what potatoes gratin is.
Well, maybe that's something we can learn.
Maybe you and I can go to the steak night. Let me guess.
Yeah, no hockey.
Let me guess.
No,
You're busy.
no hockey, no Elks. We could go. Could we eat? We'd probably be sharing the. Well, how big were the ones we got that one day?
40 ounce.
So a little bigger than this.
A little.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That was a lot of food.
That was a lot. Coob did good on that.
Yeah, Coob is a young, growing man. He's got a bottomless pit for a stomach. All right. Click the thumbs up, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube. Keep giving us a like. I mean, you can only give one. But if you haven't done it already, do it. We got a winner this quickly.
We have a winner.
Who was it?
Unnamed.
Okay, Jay will find it. So is it a first-time interactor?
No.
They just don't have a handle. Okay. Well, Jay will find out their name. We'll give the right answer when we get back. Luke Gazdic is coming up.
Game 3 of the NBA Finals goes tonight with the Thunder clashing against the Pacers. That one is tied at 1 apiece. Tip-off at 6:30. In the CFL, Ottawa's Drew Brown will not dress this week against Montreal. Matt Schultz will start for the Red Blacks in the game Friday, with 3 Down Nation reporting that Brown suffered a hip injury late in their series opener last week against the Riders. Earlier, the Jays got by the Cards 5-2 to sweep their 3-game series. Toronto plays Philly on Friday. In other Jays news, 40-year-old Max Scherzer is nearing his return from the 60-day injured list. He'll pitch tomorrow in a rehab start with Toronto's AAA affiliate in Buffalo. Another move sees Toronto's Nathan Lukes being placed on the 10-day injured list with a concussion. 3 games are live right now. Angels down 3-zip to the Athletics in the 6th inning. Arizona holds Seattle 5-2 in the 8th, while the Dodgers lead the Padres 4-1 in the 6th. From Kelowna, the Riverhawks play the Falcons. Edmonton winning 4-1 in their series opener yesterday. First pitch for that one is at 6:35. Meanwhile, the 3-6 Cactus Rats look to snap a 5-game losing streak against the Giants on the road in Fort McMurray. This sports update is brought to you by Paramount Flooring, proudly serving Edmonton and area for over 30 years. Their West End showroom is open 7 days a week. You can shop online at ParamountFlooring.ca. Luke Gazdic checks in once we get back from break. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Gallo LLP is an Alberta-based accounting firm with expert chartered professional accountants in both our Edmonton and Sherwood Park accounting firms. Our experienced and innovative accountants provide financial advice that saves our clients money. Simply put, we help our clients protect their assets and grow their businesses. At Gallo LLP, they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John to discuss how they can help your business grow. Visit gallollp.ca today and see how they can help you take your business to the next level.
Do you have pets? Horses? Chickens? Did the place you used to get your feed recently close down? Have no fear. Clover Bar Feeds is here. Whether it's dogs, cats, horses, or chickens, Clover Bar Feeds has you covered. Offering a large variety of food and feed, you can trust the experts at Clover Bar Feeds. They've been family owned and operated for over 60 years. This means you can expect nothing less than top-notch service and selection. Come visit them at 200 Portage Close in Sherwood Park, or visit them online at cloverbarfeeds.com.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know.
Must you click? Click. Thumb. Must you click? Thumb, thumb, thumb.
All right, there is the Thumb Click remix is put together by the maestro Zachary Kubish, reminding you, if you haven't already, to click the thumbs up button if you're taking us in on YouTube. We thank you for consuming the show, however you are doing so. Maybe you're using YouTube. Maybe you're listening through a podcast in the future at some point. Hello to the future. Hi. Do they have robot cars yet? You could also get us on the streaming apps, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, or just go to EdmontonSportsTalk.com, find out more about the station and how you can consume us. Follow us on X at YEG Sports Talk. By the way, tomorrow for Game 4, Tom Gazzola will be live at Hudson's on Bourbon Street. And I think Hernan's going for the pregame show. So Jay and I are going to go from 3 to 5. 5 o'clock, GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show, the game, and then they're on for the postgame show as well. I'll be jumping on the postgame show with Reid for Edmonton Garrison Memorial Golf and Curling Club. Who has won the couple of tickets to the CBH Bone-In Steak Night on the 21st?
Gabe Starr.
And he got it quick. Who was the Edmonton Trappers manager in 1983 and 1984? Moose Stubing. Who,
what a name.
Yeah, great name. His name was Lawrence George Stubing, but they called him Moose.
Wonder where he got that nickname.
Passed away in 2018. I vaguely remember that when he was the manager of the Trappers. I had to come up with something historical. But boy, Gabe Starr, is that who got it?
Gabe Starr, yeah.
He was in there quick. All right. Thanks a lot for checking out the show. One of our regulars here on EST is the one and only with Sportsnet former Oiler Luke Gazdic, who joins us this afternoon. Hi, Luke. It's Reid and Jay.
What's up, boys? How we doing?
We're doing great. Mostly we're doing great. So
you're not okay. You've been ranting for the last 2 days.
Who told you that? Who told you that?
Well, I just watched it. I watched it today. You went on some rants. I don't want to watch this. I can't watch this anymore. Whatever that was.
Well, that wasn't.
It was
me.
a good rant. It was a good
me.
rant. I'm not chirping the rant. Yeah,
okay,
it's like
you
just seem frustrated. Yeah,
I was. Well, that was a shortened version of it.
I think Dusty tweeted about it. Said this is when Reid's the best or something like that. I liked it too.
So,
I just got off a show where, listen, I love Mike Rupp, but the show quoted Mike Rupp's tweet asking me about Frederick going after Bennett, and they're like, was that like not the thing? I'm like, what are we talking about here? Like, people are mad that that stuff happened at the end of the game, especially with Freddie. Like, I'm glad. I didn't like the composure question. Ken Reid and me were like sitting there after the game. We're like, lose their composure. Are you kidding me? So anyway,
well,
agreed.
Yeah, and that was my point, is that a lot of people who have watched a lot of hockey were acting like the Oilers did something unusual. I get it. It's the Stanley Cup final. It's the biggest stage. It's the only game to watch. But aggression and or fighting and or cheap shots. And one of the things I said in the extended version of my rant was, how are the Florida Panthers behaving if it's a 6-1 game? Like, exactly the same thing is happening. They sound like the Oilers.
The same thing, if not worse. I watched the Toronto series. I lived here for the Toronto series. Like, they did the same thing. They do the same thing to everybody. I would rather, if you're an Oilers fan, I would rather you see your team go down absolutely swinging, punch for punch, than roll over into the night and just, accept a 6-1 loss. Like, no, I'm good with an absolute gong show in the last 10. If you're getting crushed by 5, take a pound of flesh with you. That's hockey, baby.
Well, and that's a good point, Luke, because if the Oilers didn't do anything and just sat there and took it, well, then you'd have the people saying, well, how could they just sit there and let Florida skate all over them and run all over them and not do anything and no response? So, I mean, as a hockey team, I mean, sometimes a Donniebrooke's got to happen.
That's I agree. That's where I was going with it. Like, they were asking, did you guys lose your composure and stuff like that? And I'm sitting there with Kenny. I'm like, you know what? You don't love the score, but I don't hate the way they lost.
Sir, were you saying Mike Rupp was questioning how the Oilers acted?
Not the Oilers. It was Trent Frederick in particular.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was that Frederick should have gone after someone, like Gazdic was going after Ekholm, and I think he was saying kind of thing like, why isn't he going after someone like that, rather than Bennett? I'm like, if a scrum starts and Sam Bennett's a foot away from you, you know exactly who I'm going after,
Right. Okay. We have a fun question. I texted you. We'll get to it at the end. It's our off-topic topic, kind of inspired by my rant yesterday, but we'll stick to the hockey stuff here. And Jay and I talked about this a bit yesterday. And look, Luke, you played hockey at a lot of different levels, and I've covered hockey like from junior B to the NHL. So maybe that's why I was a little insensitive to what I saw. Like, I saw junior B where like fans were trying to get on the ice to join not a line brawl, a full bench clearing brawl, like during the handshake. Okay, so I've seen.
Kenny was like, Kenny called it like the junior B hoedown or something like that. He was like, we need a little old school junior B hoedown here to end this game. I'm like, sure, man, let's take it into the trenches.
But when people who talk about hockey use the term, well, you got to send a message. Are you sending it to the other team? Or are you sending it to your teammates? Because I've come to believe, and maybe you're going to disagree with me, which is fine, but I've come to believe from all the sports I've watched over the years, really, if you're not going to stop Marchand or Bennett or Ekblad from behaving how they behave, but you might need to tell your teammate, like Jay used to play football, like, hey, Jay, I see him grabbing your face mask when the refs can't see it, so I'm going to try to break his ribs with my helmet next time, okay? Like, then I'm telling my buddy Jay, I got your back.
For me, it was all about the group. Everything I did was group first, opposition second. Is what I'm doing or planning to do, is it going to help or hurt my team? I think that's the ultimate question you ask. And it's tough to make those decisions in real time. I will say that. Like, the game happens so fast. The pace is happening so fast. And before you know it, stuff hits the fan. But I always just think, is this a good thing for my hockey club? Am I setting a good example? Are guys going to see this, and are they going to be fired up, or is it going to have no influence whatsoever? So as long as it's smart, like, the boys just got to be a little smarter. I think you can attest to that. I know there were a lot of penalties on both sides, but like 4 in the first and 11 total, like, just ain't it. Like, that's just not it. So you can play tough, you can set an example, but man, you got to look at the long run too and what you're trying to do to the opposition.
Well, and that's where the composure thing comes in for me. Like I thought the Oilers were so caught up in trying to be physical that they forgot to play hockey for 40 minutes, and then it was 4-5-1. I didn't think the Panthers had a very good first period either, quite frankly, because they took 3 or 4 penalties. Lundell punched Bouchard at the buzzer when he didn't need to, and gave Perry the power play goal, but the Oilers gave it right back. Did you see that in the first? Like, were you? Okay, let me put this. What upset you? What bothered you about how the Oilers played in the first 40 to 45 minutes? What was missing?
I think a microcosm is Evander Kane's tripping penalty to start 190 feet from your own net. I get that you want to play with an edge and play that way. That's going to sink the team. I've talked about these 4 penalties, and yeah, you could say it's on the other side too, but they capitalized. Not only is it spending 8 minutes in the box, you're also not getting half your team involved. Your depth guys aren't going to play. You're asking your penalty killers to go out 5 minutes into a hockey game and block a 95-mile-an-hour one-timer multiple times, 4 times in a row at a period. So now you're already behind the 8 ball. So it's not just the actual penalties that you have to kill. It's the reverberation throughout your group. You have guys that played 2 shifts. I don't know if this is true, but 2-3 shifts in the first period. And you're like, what are we doing here? Now, how do you get them involved? So it was the lack of discipline. Because I'm going to say they just like didn't have enough guys going, but it was tough to get everyone involved if you're playing in and out of the box the entire night.
Sportsnet's Luke Gazdic joining us here on the Reid Wilkins Show. Today was supposed to be a day off for Oilers players. Excuse me.
There's some drama here.
Or an optional skate. I want to hear your thoughts. I mean, optional skates usually aren't for your superstars. They're usually times when Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl would not skate. They were on the ice. They were among 60 players for the Oilers that were on the ice. Just what do you think of that in general, leading up to tomorrow's game?
Okay, so the same thing happened. I don't know why this is such a big deal. There's a lot to unpack here because the same thing happened in the Western Conference Final. They came home for game 3 and 4. They played that game 3 on the Sunday in the afternoon, and it was supposed to be an off day the next day. And I heard/know for a fact that leadership group vetoed against that and said, we do want to skate. So they were on the ice the next day. I think that's kind of how the locker room works. I don't think it's, necessarily Kris making a schedule or saying something's going to happen without some sort of democratic process with the guys that play the most minutes. This one in particular, I listened to him. He just said that. I think he just said the scratch. He said it's going to be an optional day. It's going to be an optional skate, right?
Well, yesterday he made it sound like it was a day off and that they didn't want to be on the ice like 3 days in a row or whatever.
Okay, here's what it is to me. That I'm new at this. It's a Stanley Cup final. I go to the rink every day. Like, what are we doing here? You're covering the Stanley Cup final. Go to the rink every day and get a vibe of what's going on around there. That's my thing. Like, I mean, I was at the rink at Rogers every day. Didn't matter what was happening because I just want to see what's going on. I want to see the vibe. I want to see if stuff like that's going to happen. Like, am I going to go to the rink and be surprised at who's on the ice? That happened for Florida a lot for me. Like I wasn't sure. They're a team that has not skated at all. Like at all. The Dallas series, they were not. Dallas was, and Florida even was not on the ice. And at the start of this series, same thing. They weren't on the ice, but Edmonton loves to skate. I know you're having a chat whether like long run, this is going to have an effect. If Connor McDavid wants to skate, I don't know how you're telling him he's not.
Right.
And when I have to say, like when these guys go out for optionals, like maybe they just want to work on a couple things. Maybe they just want to get some touches. So I get it. It was possibly a miscommunication, possibly like a little bit of secrecy. I'm not sure what the decision was behind there, but I'm new at this game. Cup final, I'm going to the rink regardless. I want to see what's going on.
Well, and like you said, I think it's a good sign if your 2 best players want to take an optional skate and be on the ice together. And by the way, who was somebody that was called out for not contributing as much as he would normally do in Leon Draisaitl in game 3. So
I look at this. Sorry, a positive thing too is like if these guys are skating on off days, they are healthy.
Right.
One of the reasons Florida is not skating is because their top guys are banged up, like really, really banged up. So if you have your 2 gamers on the ice, like that's a good thing to start. That means they're feeling good.
No,
that's a good point.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. From Kris Knoblauch this morning, expecting one potential lineup change, and he did not confirm who would be starting in goal for Game 4. Where do you see the Oilers making an adjustment in their lineup for tomorrow's game?
Well, Stu has those unreal Game 4 numbers, so he's not going anywhere. I think at this point, you're living and dying with your starter. There's nothing in net for me. I don't mind the change that sounds like it's going to come on defense. Stetch was so good. You guys know this. Stetch was so good just at what he had to do and what he knows he has to do to be a successful guy in that system. Klinger struggled a bit. I think you can attest to that. This team is way, way different on the defense core than Dallas was. This team has gotten to their forecheck early and often. Every time they are going back for the pucks, it's a shoulder check, and there's F1 followed by a close F2, and there's a hit happening every time. And these guys are starting to hear footsteps. The Klingberg-Waldman pair was so good for a good amount of time, but I always liked even switching up one or two guys just because of you're bringing in new personalities and new faces into the locker room. And I think it's, I'm not saying it gets stale in any way, but like you're bringing in some new guys that haven't been a part of it. And I think that can really inject a nice boost into a locker room and into a group. I will tell you, I had a great convo with Knobs in Dallas when he put Skinner in for Nuge. And I just simply asked, I was like, why Jeff? Why not DR? And why not Max Jones? He said, if I thought I was losing the physical and speed battle, I'd put in Jonesy. If I thought I was losing the battle down the middle, especially faceoffs, I'd put in DR. But I think Jeff is the best overall player of the three and gives us the best chance. That was the Dallas series. I see that differently now. I know a ton of people don't know a ton about Jones, but I might be looking to put in Max Jones, honestly. The kid can absolutely fly, adds a physical presence, and you're thinking like, yeah, but they need more offense from their depth. Well, it's time for the third line to step up. Like, it's time for Connor to score. Like, I think internally they have to find that offense differently, but I'd probably tweak a couple things just to give the group a little bit of a jolt.
Yeah. Was it you and me were talking about Jones, or me and Gager too, I think?
No, it's on our show, yeah. You suggested Max Jones.
I think in the last series I did.
In the last series.
Yeah, but even though this morning Gager and I were talking about it, you might have been on the phone. I don't know who you'd take. Like, would you take Arvidsson out?
I'd think about Pods.
Or even Podkolzin? Okay.
But the thing about Pods that I don't even love to say that is just the guy works his tail off. Like, it's not for effort. It's not for anything other than we need something different. We need a different look, and players don't want to hear that, but man, they got to find it from somewhere. And it's just not happening in the bottom half of their lineup right now.
All right. We'll see what they do. It sounded like, and we'll play the clip in the next segment. It sounded like Stetcher's coming in the way Knoblauch answered a question without directly answering it. Our off-topic topic for William Huff. So part of my rant yesterday, if you want to call it that, was I get irritated by people who overreact. And like I said, I think you saw the clip where I said you're ignoring context and history. This happens in hockey, right? So don't be shocked. Right? Like if you don't like it, or if you want to criticize the Oilers, fine, but don't act like it's surprising. So that irritated me. So our off-topic topic for William Huff is, what is something that always puts you in a bad mood and or irritates you?
You know what? I was listening to you guys earlier. I'm not going to lie. I heard one about driving, about, getting all the way to the end and merging. I don't mind that at all. If I go out of my way to let somebody in on the road, and I mean out of my way, I slam on the brakes, or like I'm just in a good mood and I just hold up. And you know what? I'm like, you go ahead. I give them the wave and I don't get a wave back.
Yes.
What are we doing here in a society when we can't have law and order? Like, if I am going to go out of my way to do something nice, I don't necessarily say I want a pat in the back, but it's just a little wave.
Just give me a wave.
It's just an acknowledgement of your gratitude. Oh, and it drives me bonkers, yelling in the car. I wave back at them most of the time just so they see me in their rear view. But that one drives me nuts on the road. And here in Toronto, you never know what's going to happen. So I'm not getting a ton of those.
All right, that's a good one, Luke. I guess, you're dusty next week.
Also, driving the speed limit in the passing lane. Dude, have we forgotten how to drive on the highway? Yeah. Like, Sorry. Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, no, you're
Yeah,
right.
I'll probably be back
we didn't think it'd be dry. Somebody had a good one that when you're trying to plug something in and you can't quite see the socket. I thought that was a good one. You know, like you're all excited, you're plugging in your new TV or your new speaker, and it's like, what? Oh, I can't find. Ah.
Well, what's the speed limit on the main highway there?
There's only one main highway in Ontario.
The main. What's it called?
I'm not gonna lie. There's literally 4 main. The 401 is probably
401. 401.
Yeah.
What's the speed limit there?
100 kilometers.
Okay, so somebody's driving 102 in the fast lane.
In the far left
get
lane.
Over.
Yeah.
Beat it.
Just
get out of the way.
I got places to be. I got to go. But yeah, so I think Dusty next week. I'll be back in Edmonton for the rest of the series. So
it's just we may not have you the following week. This actually could be it for this season.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
I'll try to work something out because if that's the case, like it looks like we're going to stay there regardless of what happens here. So once we fly out, I'm staying till the end of it. So let's try to work something out.
And we can go for a drive on the
I met Matthew too. I met Matty. He introduced himself in the press box. He said he's still got a hoodie for me.
Oh, he's still going to get him the hoodie.
Yes.
How does he not have the hoodie yet?
Yeah,
this
I'll
is
pick it
tragic.
up in person. We'll try to get something going when I'm in town because I'll have some off days and stuff now, especially if they go back down to Florida for 6. Then we'll see.
Okay, perfect. Luke, you're the best. Excellent analysis as always. We love seeing you. Enjoy the rest of your evening, buddy.
Have a good one, boys.
Luke Gazdic from Sportsnet checking in. We love talking to him. We hit on a lot there. That was good.
That was awesome.
That was good. All right. 780-218-9999 is how you text us, the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. Speaking of great guests, Marty Biron is coming up in about 20 minutes. We have the Oil Understood in the next section. So you'll see what Kris Knoblauch said about possible lineup changes. Here's the 4 o'clock break.
The Lock Shop. I got full confidence, despite being shut down the way they were in game number 3. This is the statement game, the statement time for 97 and 29 to go and make that happen and be those difference makers. And I think they do it. I can't not wait for tomorrow night.
We have to remember these two teams, it could have been 2-0 either way. I read more into those two games than I do a game that ended up having a third period that wasn't even essentially a hockey.
The Lock Shop, weekday mornings at 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
If you aren't wearing a Connect belt, what are you waiting for? A one-size-fits-all belt with a smooth, hole-free track system makes it adjustable for the perfect fit. With fully customizable options, you can choose your belt color, material, and buckle to suit your style. 100% Canadian-owned and operated, Connect belts are designed for work, everyday wear, and even a round of golf. Check out the large selection of men's and women's styles at www.knktbelts.com. Connect belts, the perfect fit every time.
River Cree Resort and Casino proudly presents Ian Munsick. July 5th, live in the venue. Country fans, you don't want to miss an evening with Ian Munsick, a stampeding, spirited celebration of romance, ranch life, family, and forever young fun. Tickets on sale now at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
You've heard the name, but what does it mean? For over 66 years, William Huff Advertising has supplied signage from screen printing to digital to LED with design, production, and install in-house. It's a one-stop shop for all your signage needs. Edmonton owned and operated, William Huff has been trusted by the biggest companies and teams in the City of Champions and many others across the country to do the job. If you're looking for a way to get the word out about your company or event, they are the answer. Go to www.williamhuff.com. Their results speak for themselves.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and the Thunder challenge the Pacers on the road in Indiana for Game 3 of the NBA Finals. The series is notched at 1 apiece, tip-off at 6:30. CFL News has Drew Brown out this week for the Red Blacks due to a hip injury, according to 3 Down Nation. Max Schultz gets a start against the Alouettes. MLB action has 2 games live. Padres trail the Dodgers 4-2 in the 7th, while the Angels lead the Athletics 4-3 in the 6th. Earlier, the Jays won their series closer 5-2 against the Cardinals, sweeping the series. Other Jays news has Max Scherzer getting set for rehab start with the Bisons, Toronto's AAA affiliate, tomorrow. The Jays also moved Nathan Lukes to the 10-day injured list as he's out with a concussion. Elsewhere, Seattle Out in Kelowna, the Riverhawks meet the Falcons at 6:35. Riverhawks winning 4-1 in their series opener last night. And the Cactus Rats are also on the road playing the Giants Energy City, dropping their last 5 games. I'm Zachary Kubish for your sports update. The second hour of the Reid Wilkins Show starts right now.
All right, hope you're having a great afternoon. Awesome chat with Luke Gazdic. Marty Biron's coming up in about 15 minutes. We're going to have a very fun/odd trivia segment a little bit later on. Jay's going to tell you about a new segment that we're rolling out next week here on the Reid Wilkins Show that you can help make suggestions for. We're with you until 6 o'clock. And, of course, plenty of coverage of your Edmonton Oilers who play Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final tomorrow on the road against the Florida Panthers. Panthers lead the series 2-1. Before we go into the Oil Understood, we have some submissions for the off-topic topic for William Huff, Jay.
Andrea from Calgary says, it always irritates me when dirty dishes are left on the counter next to the dishwasher instead of being put in said dishwasher.
Yeah.
Timber Woodsman, we've got a little bit of a controversy here on the merge.
A controversy.
The late merger is the exact way you were supposed to merge. The zipper merge, it's called. Usually when I'm merging, and if traffic's slow, I just get in whenever I can. I choose my spot and I get in.
Right.
I'm not trying to be the hero that sends it the whole way. Although I have, and I guess I will. And Waddy in Cloverdale's answer is quite simple. He says, my answer for the off-topic topic, I want it.
Well, that could be on my list as well.
Depends on the day, bruh.
What is something that always irritates you or puts you in a bad mood? And, of course, why, or a story about it. We've had some fun stuff coming in there. Give us a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube, if you haven't already. Again, early start and now just a stall. We're below 90. We got to 70, 80 pretty quickly. It was rolling along.
Well, we just need to remind everybody.
And maybe people were, they got interested watching Luke and forgot to. I get it. You were
even my mother
by
always says she needs a reminder to
well,
press
there's
the
a reminder.
Like
Get in there and click. Let's soar over 100 here. Get to 155 for double word of the day and keep building to 200.
And she sent me a text breaking down what au gratin means.
Oh, good.
By grating in French, or with a crust, from the verb gratter, to grate, cooked while covered with breadcrumbs. Au gratin.
Okay.
There you go.
So that's potatoes.
Gratin.
That you get at the CBH Bone-In Steak Night, June 21st. We gave away a couple of tickets to that.
Yeah, Gabe Star won.
Gabe Star did a great job. All right, 780-218-9999 is the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. River Cree Resort and Casino featuring Italia Restaurant, home of the $6.99 brunch special from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sundays. So, as we talked about, Kris Knoblauch did a relatively, 10 a.m. in Florida, 8 a.m. here, relatively early Zoom availability as the Oilers, did have a fairly well-attended optional practice after all, but we'll have some comments here from Knoblauch. All part of the Oil Understood for GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around. From turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors, they are the critical engine component experts. Proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years, and now a partner of Edmonton Sports Talk and the Reid Wilkins Show. GCL Diesel. Diesel. Understood. Okay, so Kris Knoblauch was asked, I thought this was kind of an interesting one. So, you lose a game pretty badly. What can the coach do to sort of set a tone or help the team move on after a tough loss?
I think it starts almost immediately after the game. The players are always looking for answers about why things happened the way they did, what adjustments we can make. So I think, whether that's talking to a few individuals, then getting to the whole team, and then leading up to the game, of having a message, and whether that's a big speech or a big tactical strategy. But I think players today are always looking for answers. and finding out what the best message is to give to them. So, we're in the Stanley Cup Finals. It's a little bit different than if it was a dog day game in December or January, where it's mid-season and it's tough to get going for when you're on the road. We're in the Stanley Cup Finals, so motivation isn't quite the same level. Obviously, I think the most important thing is having focus and direction for the players to go out and play their best.
I mean, I think we know focus and direction, things he's talked about. I think he's been pretty good at bringing that to the Oilers. I just found it interesting what he said right off the top, that the process of preparing for the next game begins right after the current game ends.
Yeah.
So it's not as if he necessarily goes into the dressing room and says, okay, guys, next game we got to do this, this, and this. But there are probably little seeds you plant about, okay, guys, some things to work on, or let's, we'll have to I don't know, or just setting a tone or putting them in the right mindset.
I think the part of that process starting right after the game, Reid, is that forget about it. Let's move on. This game's over. Throw it away. Learn from your mistakes. Learn from the start and be better next game. But for right now, for tonight, move on. Move past it. On to the next game. That's more what I would think would be an approach, especially after a game like Game 3 for the Oilers. Anyhow, I mean, if the shoe was on the other foot, there might be a bit more of a, hey, this is what we did good, highlighting that and saying, but we still need to do this for next game.
Knoblauch was also asked, how do you contain Sam Bennett, who's having an excellent series?
It's a collective thing for our team. I think the more time we spend in the offensive zone, the better. The easier we can break the puck out. We're not in the offensive zone giving up chances off their forecheck. I don't think there's an individual thing where it's one line playing against that line or Sam. Obviously he's a very good player. He's going to get some chances, but they've got a good team, so our focus can't be on solely one player or one line.
All right. Well, that's true, but Bennett is driving the bus right now for sure. He brought up, and I think we've heard him from this before, and quite frankly, I think we hear it more and more from other NHL coaches, that sort of the best defense is a good offense. We need to spend time in the other team's end of the rink.
Exactly.
When it's in our end of the rink, get it out as quickly as possible. I think that much of this series might come down to is, can the Oilers get in on that forecheck, which has been pretty good. I mean, we talked about, they got a little better as the LA series went on. Certainly we saw it against Vegas and we saw it against Dallas. We talked about it a lot on this show, that the Oilers can get in there and grind. I mean, they did it to Vegas. They played patient. They did it to Dallas. They wore down some of the players and defensemen on those teams. And they wore down, I guess, some of the LA players as well. Man, that series seems like it was 3.5 years ago.
Doesn't it?
But they haven't been able to do that against the Florida Panthers. And Sean Bell showed me a great piece of video today, sort of a montage of how good the Florida Panthers are at denying the Oilers, maybe not a zone entry, but a clean zone entry, or that ability to get the puck in and then sort of be dangerous with it. And we've talked about, through this series, that the Oilers haven't looked as fast as they have in other series. And I think that's because the Panthers are so good from their red line in. The Oilers might be able to carry the puck or pass the puck to the center line, but then it's, where do you go? There's pressure from a forward. An Oiler player is trying to carry the puck in. There's a big rangy defenseman who's got his stick right up to the blue line, right? So they're very good at not backing in. They're very good at denying those zone entries, and they're very good at all five guys doing it. And you know how the Oilers have talked about playing connected? I thought at times in this series when Florida has outplayed the Oilers haven't looked connected.
It's a great point.
Okay, maybe so Florida's forechecking. They're cycling the puck. Maybe an Edmonton player steals it or knocks it away. He's got no one nearby to give it to, right? It's, puck support or whatever you want to call it, because they're getting pulled around chasing the puck. And the Panthers are very good at, okay, everybody's back. If we steal the puck, it's a couple of quick passes and we're going the other way. I know I referenced that. I don't know what it is now, but the Panthers were leading the playoffs in goals scored within 5 seconds of a turnover.
Yeah.
And you can see where that comes from because it's layers of pressure, right? It's okay, this guy, we steal the puck and everybody's just then right there to pounce on it. So I think that's going to be a challenge for the Oilers. I think if they can start getting pucks in a little more cleanly,
yes,
or be skating when they dump the puck in, and they have been able to do it at times, but they certainly haven't done it enough the last couple of games.
Well, and you said disconnected, and is that the Oilers are playing disconnected, or Florida's forcing them into that?
Yeah, it's
right?
both. It's a little bit of both.
It's certainly both, because the Oilers, especially last game, did not match the intensity of the Florida Panthers. I don't think once, especially not 5-on-5. So you're going to start playing a little bit more anxious. You're going to squeeze the stick a little harder. You're going to make rushed decisions that you don't make when you're playing calm and composed. So yeah, I think Florida's doing a great part. But for the Oilers, yes, that starts with getting that puck in and allowing them to play with that grit, right?
Yeah. Let's do quickly here, and we got Marty Biron coming in about 5 minutes. Knoblauch asked about any lineup changes.
Yeah, we will have likely a lineup change. We haven't confirmed that. We haven't discussed that with our players yet, but there are some things that we've been thinking about, and there might be a lineup change.
Okay, the guess is that it's going to be Stetcher for Klingberg. I'll play the audio later on, but that's what we can glean. You listen to that clip too, because he really went on about Stetcher, which led me to believe, okay, I'll talk about this player because I'm going to play him, as opposed to like, well, he works hard, but right now he's not going to be in the lineup. So we think that is going to be the change. I know Luke brought up Max Jones as a possibility. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. I think Luke was throwing that out there. So we'll dive into that a little bit later on. We do have former NHL goaltender, now analyst with MSG Network, Marty Biron, standing by. He's been a blast every time he's joined us throughout the season. He's after the break.
On the court, Indiana hosts OKC as they clash for Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Tip-off for that one goes at 6:30 with the series tied after 2 games. Out east, Drew Brown of the Red Blacks will not dress this week with an apparent hip injury reported by 3 Down Nation. Matt Schiltz takes the start for Ottawa as they visit Montreal on Friday. In baseball, the Jays beat the Cards 5-2 with Toronto sweeping their 3-game series. Toronto gets set to face the Phillies on Friday. And just 2 games are live right now, both in the 7th inning. The Dodgers up 4-2 on the Padres, while the Angels hold a 6-5 lead over the Athletics. And the Riverhawks are 5-2 facing the Falcons tonight at 6:35. Edmonton picking up a 4-1 win in their series opener last night, while Kelowna is 2-8 on the season. Energy City is also in action on the road. They're 3-6, dropping their last 5 games as they challenge the Giants in Fort McMurray. This sports update is brought to you by Advantage Sports Medicine. Connor McDavid's got a team of specialists, and you're stuck with a bag of frozen peas. Get the same locker room approach that's trusted by the best in the game. Call them at 780-460-9977 or visit their website at advantagesportmed.ca to book an appointment today. Marty Biron is our guest on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you in the loop.
Gently used furniture or home goods that need a new home? Find Edmonton is here to help. Every month we furnish over 100 homes to those transitioning out of homelessness, and we need your gently used furniture and home goods. Drop off at 5120 122nd Street or call for free local pickup. Just visit findedmonton.com to learn how your donations can help create a home for someone in need. Plus, shop our thrift store, in-store or online, with proceeds benefit those moving out of homelessness through housing supports. Visit us at findedmonton.com. Find Edmonton, supporting our community one home at a time.
Sunday through Thursday, 9 p.m. to close, head to the Banquet and dive into banquet burgers, sushi tacos, nachos, and more. Late night bites, big flavors, and epic deals. The Banquet. Get real. Play hard.
River Cree Resort and Casino proudly presents Ian Munsick. July 5th, live live in the venue.
All horses are fast.
Country fans, you don't want to miss an evening with Ian Munzig, a stampeding, spirited celebration of romance, ranch life, family, and forever young fun. Tickets on sale now at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
Keep your team jersey and rally towel close by and help bring the championship home. For all your other treasures, store them with Sentinel Storage. Store Canadian. Try 4 weeks free at sentinelstorage.ca. Proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh my goodness, hope you're having a great afternoon along with Jason Milne. I'm Reid Wilkins on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports, presented by Play Alberta. We're with you, of course, all day tomorrow as well. This show will be a little bit shorter. It'll go until 5, and then at 5 o'clock, live from Hudson's on Bourbon Street in West Edmonton Mall, Tom Gazzola, Hernan Salas for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. All right, time for our weekly connection. Presented by Connect Belts. Time to simplify your life with Connect Belts. More than a good-looking belt, Connect offers a high-quality, no-holes belt, whether you're on the course, in the office, or anywhere life takes you. Connect is the perfect belt you need to feel good. Get a Connect belt and support a 100% Canadian-owned company, owned and operated by U of A alum. Scan the QR code that's on your screen right now, if you're watching on YouTube, for a special EST 20% discount. And if you want to give it a Google, it is KNKT, which stands for what again?
Knew nothing, kept trying.
Which is really cool.
Really cool.
All right. So the weekly connection for Connect Belts. And today, man, oh man, we love connecting with this guy. Well, I used to have him on my old show. And then I said to Jay, we're going to have him on this show as well. And Jay's like, okay, is any good?
I was like,
just wait and see. He's
Marty,
really
I did not say
it's Marty
that.
Biron.
I love it. Hey, by the way, that's almost how I started playing goalie. Knew nothing, kept trying, and then I got a goalie coach, and it worked out.
I don't know if I've ever asked you that, because I'm still from the generation. Obviously, I didn't play in the NHL, but I remember being a minor hockey player.
Yeah.
The kid who couldn't skate got to be the goalie. What now? It's the best athlete.
So it wasn't like that. But my dad never played really organized, like hockey, organized sports, but he was a really great athlete. He lived like in the farm. So when he was a city boy that moved out to his uncle and aunt at like 13 or 14, and they were all excited. They were going to get somebody, but he was really good. He played men's league. He played softball. He played baseball. He played all these sports. And when I started kind of feeling that I want to be a goalie, he's like, yeah, it makes sense. You're a really good skater. You're going to be able to move around. So there was a change in the philosophy. And I remember, you guys Google this. There was a video in the mid-'80s, about 86, 87, called Hot Goaltending. Okay, you can get the full-hour video on YouTube right now. It was unbelievable. So Hot Goaltending was what I studied, like seriously at home, to learn the position.
Gilles Moffat, retro stand-up.
Gilles Moffat, he was a reporter, but he also played college hockey. He was a goalie. So he put this video together, and it was in English and in French. I had the French version, but it was pretty spectacular.
I assume that. No, how old are you? Was this VHS or DVD?
It was VHS. I was about 11. Like we're talking about 87 or 88.
Okay. It's still up on YouTube, by the way. You can go.
And he tells you like you shouldn't be going butterfly. Like we're talking about Patrick Roy won the cup in 86, and then the butterfly style came in like late 80s, early 90s. And he's telling everybody you shouldn't go down on your knees. You got to stand up. You got to, skate saves. Like that was the era, and the tape is fantastic.
Okay, I don't want to bring it up now because I'll get too distracted. So I'll file it away for later.
Go look at it later. Yes.
Yeah, I'll look at it a little bit later. Great to have you tuning in. I did some. You're gonna laugh, but I spent some time on the internet today, and I very carefully went through every goal Brad Marchand scored during the 4+ years you and he overlapped. Brad Marchand never scored a goal on you.
Okay. I feel really good right now.
But I imagine he probably tried to rub his butt in your face or slash your blocker. Or so. What do you remember about playing against him, if anything?
Well, number one, Boston was a really good team, so I probably didn't play against Boston my last 4 years of my career because it was Henrik Lundqvist, and he probably was the guy playing most of the games. So I probably chirped him from the bench. Here's what I remember most about Brad Marchand and playing those Boston Bruins teams back in the early 2010s, right? 10 to about 14 is they had Patrice Bergeron, Zdeno Chara, and Marchand. You could tell that he had something going. He had a lot of tools, but he didn't have the toolbox to put them all together just yet. It took him a few years to get smart and to get the maturity and the experience to say, hey, this is what I got to do. Like, I feel like he would fly. He was flying off the seat of his pants. And at times it worked and sometimes it didn't work so well. I wish we had Brad Marchand, Florida Panthers, as a 22-year-old. Like, maybe he wouldn't have been labeled as a rat or as a shift disturber or whatnot. Like, he is so smart now. He plays the game. He doesn't want to get involved after the whistle. He's complimenting the Toronto Maple Leafs, how good they are. He's complimenting the Oilers and how good McJesus is, and he walks on water. I'm like, who is this guy, right? The guy that we hated so much is all of a sudden the nice guy. But he is very efficient in the way that he plays.
Yeah, he's been outstanding, and he's still like I criticize some of the stuff he does because there's been some of the licking and choking over the years, but it seems his teammates love him wherever he is, and he's having a hell of a series. All right, I'm gonna have some fun with this one, but I think you'll like it. Let's say you had 90 seconds to talk to the Edmonton Oilers, and the question you had to answer for them: how do you score on Sergei Bobrovsky?
It's very hard to beat Bobrovsky in just a simple way. It's like moving laterally, he's really good. That save on Draisaitl in game 2, right before the Oilers tied it with Perry. Like, that was a very typical Bobrovsky save. Here's the big thing. You have to elevate the puck. And it's easier said than done. Everybody always talks about you get a rebound, you got to elevate. You get in tight, you got to elevate. But if it was that easy, everybody would be doing it. So for me, that has to be the focus. If you get in tight with Bobrovsky, it has to be, you got to roof it. And sometimes you're going to miss high or going to miss wide, but it has to be elevated. You cannot think you're just going to snap it in the back of the net 6 inches from the ice or along the ice. It's not going to happen. He's too good. And that was like Dominic Hasek back in the days. I remember when in 99 we played the Dallas Stars in the finals. I was the black ace, like the third goalie. And I watch a practice of the Dallas Stars having their third goalie, their practice goalie, lay on the ice on sideways, like 2-pad stack, and they would shoot a puck at the goalie. And everybody came in one after one, and the rebound has to be up. The rebound had to be up. And they did that drill over and over and over again. Why? Because you couldn't beat Hasek along the ice on rebounds. You can't beat Bobrovsky along the ice on rebounds. It has to be elevated. I would do that same drill. If I was Kris Knoblauch, the Oilers, I would say, let's put, Calvin Pickard or Olivier Rodrigue in net in practice. Let's lay him on the ice. Let's shoot it at him, have a rebound, and everybody comes in one after the other, and we elevate the puck, and we try to get that muscle memory going.
Yeah.
Marty Biron joining us here on the Reid Wilkins Show. Stuart Skinner has been called, or come to be called, Mr. Game 4 in his postseason career. He's 5-0 in Game 4s. But he did look, he struggled a bit in Game 3. And last time he struggled in this postseason, Calvin Pickard came in and rattled off 6 straight wins for the Oilers before becoming injured. Who do you think the Oilers will go to, or do you think they need to make a change in net heading into Game 4?
No, I think they're going to keep with Stuart Skinner. That's what I would do. I think Stuart Skinner gives them a better chance to win. And I know I'm speaking against Calvin Pickard, who's 6-0 and did a fantastic job coming in against LA and at the start of the Vegas series. Without him, the Oilers probably don't get to the finals, but I think Stuart Skinner is a better goaltender. Now, I look at Skinner, and I think in Game 2, he started to look a little bit like he was chasing the game, right? And the start of Game 3, first minute, he's swimming outside of his crease, lost the puck, was out of control. Then he tried to do too much. Like, he was playing the puck a lot. I think he's a good puck-playing goaltender, but he's got to keep it in the bubble. And I remember I was watching the game with my son, who's, he's a college hockey goalie now, and he's like, Skinner's out of his bubble. Skinner's trying to do too much. And it really felt like that in Game 3. And if the Oilers were thinking about Calvin Pickard being an option, they probably would have put him in the net at 4-1 or would have put him in the net at the start of the third period in the third game. Now, I know the Oilers were in the penalty kill, so maybe that took that option away. But I still think if you think Pickard is an option, you want to give him as much time in the crease before Game 4. I think they went to Pickard at 5-1 because they're like, okay, now let's get Stuart Skinner out of here. So for that reason, my guess, what I would do and what the Oilers will do is going back to Stuart Skinner.
I like how you put that about kind of staying in that bubble, right? Like, and not trying to do too much. That's an interesting way to explain it. A couple more for you. Look, the gamesmanship around the net, bumping the goalie, sometimes outright interfering with the goalie and trying to make it look legal is part of the game. I know you probably don't like all of that. Bennett's been like a menace around the net. Mm-hmm. Like when you played against a guy who's doing stuff accidentally on purpose, would you try to have a conversation with the ref and say, can you please watch for this? Or would you say, okay, he's going to get a slash to the calf, and I'm going to dare the ref to call me on a penalty.
So the game has changed a lot after the 2004-2005 lockout, and the Chris Pronger type and Scott Stevens type that can come in and cross-check a guy and get him out of the front of the net isn't there anymore. Here's what I would do if I was the Oilers. I would leave Bennett alone in front of the net, because once you initiate contact with Bennett, he has an open door to say, oh, I got pushed into the goalie. Leave him alone. Stay close, but don't touch him. Because if he goes into the crease and there's nobody around him, and if he contacts Skinner or whoever's playing goal and there's nobody around him, now the referee has to call it. Now he has to say, hey, dude, like, you're there by yourself. You're going in the crease willingly by yourself. But when, he gets pushed or he gets led into the goalie's lap, now the referees can say, hey, he was on the line, but you brought him over the line. So leave him alone. Stuart Skinner is big. Stuart Skinner can look through Bennett or Kachuk or anybody around them. But don't create a double screen and don't give Bennett the opportunity to feel pressure and then fall into the goaltender.
Okay. And I'll end with this one. And I think Skinner's talked about this after the last game. Like, that first period was, quite frankly, I know Florida won the game and they played great. I didn't think either team was very sharp in the first period. Yeah. And I thought both teams took dumb penalties. I just thought the Oilers were worse. And then Florida picked it up as the game went on. When you were in a game with a lot of special teams, or we have 2 power plays, now they have 2. Like, is that weird for a goalie to be in a high special team game?
Well, it's weird if your team doesn't perform, because I would have thought that the Oilers power play would have been the key to maybe their success, right? And then they get multiple power plays. They got a power play at 1-0. They didn't score. They got 2 more power plays later. They didn't score, right? It was like, so if you're the goalie and your team is getting multiple power plays and not scoring, then it's like, okay, so now the pressure's on me. But you're right. Like, the Florida Panthers power play wasn't that great either. They ended up having to go to their second unit. Verhaeghe scored a goal. That was their second unit. And Paul Maurice was like, I felt like they were creating more. So, but for me as a goalie, what I remember my agent, Gilles Lupien, at the time, I was in juniors. And maybe my my approach mentally wasn't as sharp as it could be. It was like, play every 5 minutes. You know, you got 4 5-minute period in the first, 4 5-minute period in the second. And that's how you keep your mind sharp. So it doesn't matter if you're getting a lot of power plays, a lot of penalty kills, a lot of 5-on-5, because in a 5-minute window, I mean, it's a very short window, and then you move on. And so, yeah, when you look at the full first period and you say, hey, there was only like 4 minutes of 5-on-5 hockey or 4 minutes of in the first period. But in those 5-minute windows, there was opportunities to just dial it in. And the Oilers and Stuart Skinner did not dial it in the way they needed to in those 5-minute windows.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great stuff. Marty, we appreciate your appearances throughout the season. I don't know if there's going to be another one because, heck, there's only 4 games maximum left. But you've been awesome. I mean, you have won Jay over, which is big.
Jay, I'm putting this in my resume.
Thank you.
I won Jay over in the Reid Wilkins show. That is part of my resume.
Well, you should. I think it would, escalate you to a totally different echelon when it comes to your next jobs.
Yeah, I think when they read it, they're going to reach out to you. You're going to have to tell them the truth, though.
Oh, Marty, you're the best. Thanks for doing this because I know you were busy doing some other hits today as well. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll talk to you down the road. Thank you so much.
Awesome, guys. Good luck tomorrow night. Game 4, I think the Oilers win.
Right on. There's Marty with an optimistic look tomorrow. Yeah, he's awesome. Like the thing I like about him and other guests we have is he'll say something that I didn't expect necessarily. Not that you're guessing what every guest is going to say, but there's a bit of a roadmap in your head when you go into an interview. I didn't think he would say that. Leave Sam Bennett alone.
Right.
Which is totally counterintuitive, for me anyway, and probably totally counterintuitive to be an NHL defenseman and to be told, I don't know if the Oilers are telling him this, but I'm sure some team has said this at some point, just leave him. Let the goalie deal with him. And if he bumps the goalie, if we're not touching him, he can't say, or the ref can't think, he was bumped into him. And as we've seen from the goalie interference call, it's not about how hard you hit the goalie. So if Sam Bennett interferes with Skinner with half a skate blade in the crease and barely brushes him, but there's interference, that should get called off or be a penalty.
Should.
So, well, it should. I know I'm maybe dancing in fairyland there with how the NHL calls things sometimes. But anyway, he's always great, but that was the part of that I found the most interesting to listen to.
Yeah, he's awesome. He just brings such insight, and especially, hot goaltending with Gilles Moffat.
I don't want to watch it now because I'll lose my focus on actually doing my job.
You're going to have to watch it after. I've been looking at clips of it, and it's just so outdated compared to now.
Yeah,
that it's almost funny.
But I liked how he also talked about the drill that Dallas did playing against his Buffalo team in '99, and those little things in Prague, like how do we find a goal? What do we have to do? Okay, we were talking about how the backup goalie or the third stringer don't get to miss an optional skate.
No days off.
What do you need me to do today, guys? Just lie in the crease on your side. We're going to fire pucks on you, and then we'll try to shoot it over top of you, okay? Just don't move. But that's the thing, right? How do you find, I know Drew, we'll have to have Drew on again, too. Like, he covered the Sharks when Pavelski rose from, wasn't he a 7th rounder, to an elite goal scorer? And he said, the way Pavelski would work on deflections and getting his shot off or trying to score from a bad angle. I mean, scoring's hard, right? If you can figure out a way to get 3 or 4 extra a year, you help your team win, and you're going to help your bank account, right? Because there's more money for a 25-goal scorer than a 15-goal scorer or whatever. So Marty was great. Keep giving us the thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube, or if you've already clicked the like button. Share the link to the show with somebody else and say, hey, check these guys out. Give them a thumbs up as well. Man, oh man, we got a rally. Mid-show slump. As usual. Let's go.
Maybe we should do a limerick.
If you're delaying your pleasure, delay it no longer. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this one comes in from Bronco Nick. Oilers skated a bit more today, I see, to rid the stink they left in Game 3. Ready for more and win Game 4 and march on to win the Stanley.
Pretty good. Bronco Nick checking in with that one, emailing reid@edmontonsportstalk.com, jay@edmontonsportstalk.com. Jay and I are coming to you from the Banquet Studio. Celebrate your birthday at the Banquet. At the Banquet Bar. I'm going to start that one over. Celebrate your birthday at the Banquet Bar. Amazing drinks, great vibes, and unforgettable memories. Book your party today at thebanquetbar.com. We're going to get to Coob with a sports update. I want to get to the clip that Knoblauch gave about Troy Stecher and about John Klingberg. And we're going to have, Jay's going to put my sports knowledge to the test.
Can't wait.
In a category that I don't have a lot of knowledge in.
I'm concerned about how I'm going to aid you.
We could turn giggly here.
It
we
could be.
turn giggly in the next segment.
We will meander a bit.
Yes, it will be. 780-218-9999 is how you text the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. Here's the Coob.
Game 3 of the NBA Finals goes tonight. Thunder clashing with the Pacers. That series is tied at 1 apiece. Tip-off at 6:30. In the CFL, Drew Brown of the Red Blacks will not dress this week against the Alouettes. Matt Schiltz will start for Ottawa in the game Friday. 3 Down Nation reporting that Brown suffered a hip injury late in the series season opener against the Riders last week. Earlier, the Jays got by the Cardinals 5-2 to sweep their 3-game series. Toronto gets set to play Philadelphia on Friday. Right now, 2 games are in the 8th inning. Athletics down 6-5 to the Angels, while the Dodgers have a 4-2 lead on the Padres. Tigers and Orioles also just getting underway. Elsewhere, the Riverhawks play the Falcons. Edmonton winning 4-1 in their series opener yesterday. First pitch at 6:35. Meanwhile, the 3-6 Cactus Rats look to snap a 5-game losing streak against the Giants as they hit the road in Fort McMurray. This sports update is brought to you by Windsor Plywood Leduc, locally owned and operated since 1993. They have doors, flooring, baseboards, and of course, they got plywood. Go see the knowledgeable staff today at Windsor Plywood Leduc. We have some fun trivia, more Oilers talk on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Timeout, Edmonton. The new Play Alberta app has arrived, and it's here to make your gambling experiences more fun, exciting, and secure. Enjoy the convenience of hundreds of casino games, betting live on your favorite sports teams, and access to lotteries all in one place, anywhere in Alberta. Enter code YEG50 to receive a $50 free bet when you make a $5 minimum deposit. That's a $50 free bet for new and existing users using code YEG50. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
You've always known GCL Diesel as the experts in diesel fuel systems, but did you know that GCL is also your source for turbochargers and turbo repair? As a turbo supplier for Garrett, Borg Warner, and Holset, GCL can provide genuine original equipment turbos at wholesale prices. Whether it's diesel, gas, natural gas, or performance, we can provide you with the turbo or custom repair you require. Turbo questions? We've got turbo answers. Visit us in the West End or online at gcldiesel.com. GCL Diesel, turbochargers, understood.
Keep your team jersey and Raleigh towel close by and help bring the championship home. For all your other treasures, store them with Sentinel Storage. Store Canadian. Try 4 weeks free at sentinelstorage.ca. Proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, good afternoon. What a pleasure to bring you this program. Edmonton Sports Talk, presented by Play Alberta. Why settle for less when you can have it all, Jay?
Why?
Only Play Alberta brings you casino games, live dealers, lottery, instants, and sports betting all in one place. Players can get a $50 casino bonus by depositing $20 and using the code EST Casino. You can get a $50 free sports bet by depositing $20 and using the code EST Sports. And don't forget, to use your game sense, go to playalberta.ca or go on the Play Alberta app, go to sports, and then click on EST specials. We got Jay's play of the day. We got the grandest parlay. What's that guy in the morning? Dustin? His play of the morning.
Yeah. Dustin
Nielsen. Is he not off to do some CFL?
He's got, yeah.
So he's going to miss the hockey game tomorrow. He's got to do bus at Wubbock. BC at Winnipeg is tomorrow.
Well, you think it should be BK.
Yeah,
British
Columbia. Yeah, we don't need the letter C. The letter C is an extraneous letter in the alphabet. Quinn Phillips is in the nasty chat. Quinn, my lady, nice to have you participating in the show today.
Always a pleasure. She might like this one. This buying or selling.
We got to do the clip first, though. I promised the Knoblauch story. So he said there's probably going to be a lineup change. Now, first of all, who knows? He can do what he wants. But he was asked about having Troy Stecher around, and then he kind of talked about Klingberg as well. Here's the whole thing.
Troy's been very valuable to our team through the regular season, the playoffs, and I think probably one thing that we as a coaching staff appreciate a lot from Troy is just how dependable he is. No matter if he's playing big minutes regularly, hasn't played for a long period of time, anytime that we've needed him, he's given us really good minutes and usually not making mistakes. And as a defenseman, that's really important. As for John's been great through the playoffs. He's got us through a lot of rounds. We wouldn't have got through those rounds without the contributions that he made. At this time of the year, you want depth. You know that there's going to be injuries and, things that you got to change up to your lineup. We're blessed with having an abundance of good players. Right now, we're needing it up front more with the injuries to, Zach Hyman. Fortunately, right now, we've been very fortunate on not having many injuries on the defense. But, it's nice to know that we've got Troy being available, and whether he gets in next game or sometime in the series, we know what we're going to get from him.
All right. Do you think that that's the closest he's going to get today to telling us that Stecher's in, or are we over guessing?
Yes. I mean, this is 2 days ago, the defensive pairings were all shuffled, and that was all a ruse as well. So who knows? I do think, though, that there is some merit to considering putting Troy Stecher back in the lineup. John Klingberg's just struggled. I mean, as Knoblauch said, he's been a major part of getting them this far.
Yeah,
but he's been struggling here. So I don't know, Reid. I don't know how to take that, because is that a gamesmanship thing, or is that just his honest opinion? You don't really know. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Troy Stecher back in. Would you?
I still think Klingberg is a good player. I know he had the tough moment with Barkov checking him and running into the referee. I like how he handles the puck. I think he's smart. Stecher his high end is not as high as Klingberg, but I also understand the energy that he brings, and that, as I've often said, you know what you're going to get from Troy Stecher. You're going to get every drop he has in the tank. Is it good enough some nights? Not always, because I think he's just overmatched sometimes against certain opponents, and this would be a tough series to go in. But here's another thing: if you're Knoblauch, if you don't make a change and lose game 4, is it then worth making that change for game 5? Or at that point, do you need to say, well, I've really been running with these guys, so I don't want to put Troy Stecher in where the whole season ends if he has a tough night? I don't know. Maybe coaches don't think that way.
Well, we were talking about it earlier.
Or maybe it just pertains to the goaltending.
Yeah, maybe if there was a goaltending change to happen, it would have to happen for tomorrow's game, right? And I also think that for the defensive pairings as well. mean, you can't just throw in something entirely new to the series in a series clinching game. Should that happen, should Florida win tomorrow? But I mean, Marty Biron said the Oilers are going to win tomorrow, so that's what. Yeah.
Oh, good pick for him. Well,
He said it.
They can't lose. Well, they could lose by more goals, but I don't know if the game would be any worse. What do we have on the stream tonight, Coop? Do we have the Riverhawks or not?
We do not,
because the team they're playing. They're playing in what city?
Stop it. Just stop it. I know what you're trying to do.
What
just
city?
Stop it.
What city are they playing in?
A city in Canada. Their team does not have a play-by-play guy.
Oh, so they can't get the Riverhawks that way.
They're not here, so yeah.
Just trying. Hey,
I wasn't. Yeah. No, you're going to give me the city names.
Jay's
right?
not going to let that fly.
Okay, here's buying.
So it's
or
a team
selling.
that starts with a K. The city starts with a K, right?
Or it could start
Is
with
that
a C.
not what we're doing? Okay,
Yeah.
Buying or selling for Damon Bunting, a consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 17 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven, he understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com. Instagram handle, Damon Bunting Real Estate. Okay, so what are you asking people to buy or sell?
I'm asking them to buy or sell out of the 17 West Coast League baseball teams. Are you
There's
buying
an odd number?
17, just like the CFL. Odd's the way to go.
Okay.
17
like this
team
show,
league.
odd is the way to go.
You nailed that. Buying or selling that Reid can name half of the team names in the West Coast League.
Okay, so really,
there's 17 teams,
and one of them is a freebie.
One of them you're going to know. So what are we putting the over under at 9? Because if there's 17,
no, but one of them is the Edmonton Riverhawks.
Okay, so if you
that
name
doesn't
8
they
or more,
shouldn't count. So 8 or more of the remaining 16.
So
put it in the nasty chat or text. We'll do a quick poll. Are you buying or selling that? So are you going to give me the city name?
I'm going to give you the city name, and you have to say the team name.
Okay.
So should we
So buying or selling that I can get half of them. So I don't have to name the entire team. Jay will give me the community, and I have to have the name of the team. Big Uke thinks I can't do it.
I agree with him. I would say you need to get 8.
I think I'm going to flirt with it.
Oh, really?
Okay, if I don't get it, though, so then can we go back and do it with hints just
and
for
then
fun?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure. Okay, so I'm going to go in alphabetical order of the teams, okay? Bellingham.
I believe it is the Bellingham Bells. Yes.
Wilkie on fire.
It's Wilkins on fire.
By the way, click the thumbs up on YouTube. Let's go, everybody. We got to get to double word of the day, 155.
So that's 1. Bend.
Bend is the Elks.
Wow.
Yes. Bend, Oregon. That's where Becky Scott lived when she was doing cross country. She might still live there.
Corvallis.
But Jasmine says under. VR is buying on it. VR thinks I can do it.
He's the only one.
Corvallis. The Corvettes. Okay. So we'll go back to that one with hints.
Okay. Cowlitz.
Who?
Cowlitz.
Oh. The Cowlitz. So is it Cowlitz?
Yes.
It is the Cowlitz. It is the Cowlitz Cowbells.
Wow.
Okay.
We're giving you Edmonton, right?
Yeah, of course I get Edmonton. That's not. So I'm trying to get 8 out of 16, not 8 out of 17.
So you're 2-2 right now.
Yeah. So I'm on pace. All I have to do is get 50%.
That's right. You're on pace.
The easiest test I've ever taken.
Good luck to you. Kamloops.
Okay. I believe it is the Kamloops North Paws. Yes. All right. That's huge. I got that one, community. Yeah. Better change it to over now, eh, Jasmine?
Kelowna.
Okay, it's not the North Paws because that's Kamloops.
You are correct.
Kelowna. Oh, I should know this. The Kelowna Forbidden Secrets.
Close.
Oh, that wasn't really okay.
Marion.
Oh, crap. No.
That's not their name.
Oh, crap would be a great name for a baseball team. The Marion Berries. Yes, I got it.
Wow. You should get this. Nanaimo.
It's not the Nanaimo bars, is it?
No, is that your guess?
Yes. Okay. What am I at? I got
You're 4 for 4.
4 for 4 out of 8.
Port Angeles. Port Angeles.
The lefties. Lefties. Port Angeles lefties. Yes. Oh, I'm going to get it, everybody.
this is awesome.
I got them on 5.
Portland.
That's the Pickles. That's the easiest one. Isn't that the one John Ryan owns part of the team?
That's correct.
So I'm on pace. Oh.
You're 6 and 4.
Ooh, I'm going to do great.
Ridgefield.
The Ridgefield Mulders. Okay.
Springfield.
Adams? ATOMS? No, crap. Oh, I might not get it now.
Oh, I'm going to do great.
No, I know one of them coming up. I have.
Victoria.
Harbor Cats. Yeah, so I need one more. How many teams are left?
3.
I only need to get 1 out of 3?
You only need 1 out of 3.
Come on. A puking dog could get 1 out of 3.
Walla Walla.
The Wallbangers? That would be a hell of a name, though. The Walla Walla Wallbangers?
It would be.
I know I'm going to get it because I know
Wenatchee.
I know this. I know this one, Jay. Remember when you brought this up and I said there's 4 I know for sure? This was one of them. Apple Socks. Who could forget Apple Socks?
Yakima Valley.
There's no music for me winning. Like, there's nothing. It's just like, oh, Reid did something we said he couldn't do. And it's just like, I do it.
There, yeah, you provide the music. Yakima Valley. Or Yakima Valley?
Yeah, I think it's Yakima.
Yakima Valley.
Yakima Valley potatoes. So did I get exactly 8?
You did.
All right. I'm pretty happy. Okay, let's do the ones.
That's really good. That's impressive.
Okay, so I knew that I knew Harbor Cats, Apple Socks, Bend Elks, and Pickles. And then the other ones came to me when you said the name.
So Victoria.
Yeah, and then I remembered Victoria as well because we just played them.
Wenatchee. That was a good one.
I knew that one for sure. How do you forget? Okay, let's quickly do the ones. Give me hints for Corvallis.
Corvallis? Okay, think Vegas.
The dice? The gamblers?
Think Vegas in the sense of hockey.
The slots?
No.
The Knights? So they have like a normal name.
Corvallis Knights. Cowlitz. Dwight Schrute's most dominant animal.
The Bears?
What color?
Black Bears? That's funny.
Kelowna.
Wildcats.
Think Bev Facey.
Falcons.
Nanaimo.
And I said bars. Is it along those
Think
lines?
Bodum State.
The Owls?
Night Owls.
Oh, the Night Owls. That's pretty cool. That's fun.
Ridgefield.
I said the Mulders. The Ridgefield Ridgers.
Think Jurassic
Mountaineers. Raptors. Ridgefield Raptors. Wow, okay.
Springfield.
I said Adams. Oh, that was wrong.
It was.
Homers. Is it Simpsons related? Did they go with the Simpsons theme?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Springfield Fielders.
Think of a snow, what?
Snowman?
Something.
Snow globe?
When it
Snowmobile?
flows over your car.
Snow drift? The Drifters? The Springfield Drifters. Wow, that's an interesting one.
Walla Walla.
We'll sleep on your yard, on your lawn.
Walla Walla. This is a great name.
Yeah, I feel like I should have known this one. Is it a double word? Like it's the Walla Walla Goo Goos or something?
I don't think, no.
That's, hey, don't, the Goo Goo Dolls are getting mad at you for laughing, Coop.
Walla Walla. It's not salty, but it's.
The sugar? The sugar canes?
It's not
sweets?
salty. Yeah.
The Walla Walla sweets?
Walla Walla sweets.
That's pretty good.
And
is their mascot like a giant piece of licorice or something?
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Guy in a licorice.
And you
They
just
have
go
the
pull a
licorice
piece
races instead of the sausage
Just
races.
go pull a piece every time the mascot comes by. The Yakima Valley.
Yakupovs.
Close. It's like Poppins, but not spelt like Poppins.
The Marys?
No.
Mary.
It's Poppins, but one letter's changed.
Oh, the Yakima Valley Poppins. Goblins? No.
No, one letter in that word is changed, and that's their name.
Poppies?
Nope.
That would fit, though.
It would.
The Pippins?
Yes.
It's the Pippins?
Yes.
The Yakima Valley Pippins.
What is a Pippin?
Where do they get that? Wasn't Pippin one of the characters in Lord of the Rings?
A Pippin is a red and yellow dessert apple.
Oh, wow.
So they must be in the apple alley.
With the apple socks. They must be.
They must be. That must be prime apple territory.
And the Walla Walla Sweets, that was the name of their team?
Oh, yeah. Their logo is a green apple.
Wow, that was fascinating. Okay, well, that was surprisingly fun. So the Riverhawks are playing... Which city are they in?
Kelowna.
Playing the Falcons. The Kelowna Falcons, who do not have... They don't stream their games. So we can't stream the game for people.
Well, you could watch the game on YouTube with just game audio, no play-by-play.
Oh, they don't have a play-by, so it wouldn't make sense for us to have it on an audio stream in the evening.
It's on the audio.
It's just the PA announcer every 40 seconds. Oh, that is amazing. Well, thanks for participating.
Done, Reid.
Buying or selling.
You
I
did
got
it.
8 out of 16. Thank you, everybody.
You're the man.
I am half correct most of the time. Summary of my life.
You're the man.
Well, I'm one of the men. That's how I look at it. You can post in the nasty chat on YouTube. Please click the thumbs up. Let's go. We got to just get a double word of the day. We need 24 thumbs for a double word of the day to get to 155. So let's get there first, and then we can try to make a glorious push to... Oh, I guess technically we're on pace for 200, but we're not on the pace that we usually are at that gets us to 200.
We'll get there.
You're always optimistic
Yeah,
and confident.
Why not?
Which is pretty good. We still have Fired Up for Gemco. Oh, and also Jay's going to let you know, let's do that in the next segment, about a new feature we're going to have here that I think really is an important pillar for how you and I see the show.
Yes.
And one of the things we talked about, and, we don't hey, everything we want to do doesn't start at once. Or things like we didn't plan word of the day. And then we do word of the day. This was something that if we could have got it going out of the gate, we would have. But there was other things to happen. But now we got somebody on board to pitch in with us. Zachary in the nasty chat says, no flirting, reader. Who was I flirting with? Well, was it the Walla Walla Sweets?
Yeah.
I think I got a little titillated over their name. All right.
Word.
Give us the thumbs up. We got Fired Up for Gemco coming up. Hopefully a double word of the day. Here's the 5 o'clock break.
The EST Hangout.
When you start a round, you go, what golf ball, what are you playing? And you confirm what each of you are playing. So
I'm
you're
all
ready
over
to go.
him from now on.
Or you need to just mark your ball straight up, an SB on every one.
Yeah.
And if he says, that's my ball, you go, why are you putting an SB on there?
I
carry a Sharpie in my golf bag for that specific reason. So if you need...
I thought you just carried it to sign autographs.
The EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage. Weekday mornings 9 to 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Fridays just got a whole lot more fun. Spin the wheel at the banquet for your shot to win big and save on your bill. Spin, win, save. It's that easy. Details at thebanquetbar.com. The Banquet. Get real. Play hard.
Timeout, Edmonton. The new Play Alberta app has arrived, and it's here to make your gambling experiences more fun, exciting, and secure. Enjoy the convenience of hundreds of casino games, betting live on your favorite sports teams, and access to lotteries all in one place, anywhere in Alberta. Enter code YEG50 to receive a $50 free bet when you make a $5 minimum deposit. That's a $50 free bet for new and existing users using code YEG50. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
At Mind360, we invite you to embark on your mental health journey in a safe and comfortable space. Conveniently located in St. Albert, Mind360 has a diverse team of experienced clinicians that offer a broad range of tailored services for children, adults, and families. Furthermore, we are very proud to serve our military, veterans, and first responders. If you're looking for counseling, treatment, or assessment, understand that you are not alone. Contact Mind360 at mind360.ca to book an appointment today.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and the Thunder challenge the Pacers on the road for Game 3 of the NBA Finals. The series is notched at one aside with tip-off at 6:30. CFL News has Drew Brown out this week for the Red Blacks due to a hip injury, according to 3 Down Nation. Matt Schiltz gets a start against the Alouettes this Friday. MLB action has 2 games live. The Dodgers with a 5-2 lead on the Padres in the bottom of the 9th, while the Tigers and Orioles are runless in the 2nd. The Nationals and Mets are warming up, while the Rays and Red Sox are just about to get underway. Earlier, the Jays won their series closer 5-2 against the Cardinals, sweeping in the series. Out in Kelowna, the Riverhawks meet the Falcons at 6:35. Riverhawks winning 4-1 in their series opener last night. And the Cactus Rats are also on the road playing the Giants Energy City, dropping their last 5 games. I'm Zachary Kubish for your sports update. The third and final hour of the Reid Wilkins Show starts right now.
Why did you leave me so fast? You never gave me a helping chance. Your fallout stayed with me, consumed me.
Jason Milne on the vocals here. The song is Fallout. And this was, I always forget, this was North Shore? The second incarnation of your band?
Yes.
Now, those lyrics are, why did you leave me?
Why did you leave me so fast? You never gave me a half-decent chance.
Right. So that's a song of where did this pain come from?
Our bass player.
He wrote those lyrics, and was it about a failed relationship or an imagined? Was it actually based on an experience?
Both.
Yeah.
Probably maybe more imagined.
Okay. Because I guess you could take a song of heartbreak and imagine heartbreak.
He was an emotional guy. He is. Well, maybe not so more anymore.
Is he listening?
Maybe.
But that was not something that happened to you.
No.
Okay.
No, I
so
wasn't the lyricist.
Was it based on a breakup that he went through? Do you know for sure?
Yeah. He was, how do I say this?
He really felt his feelings?
He did.
Okay.
He did.
Well, you need that, though, to write lyrics for songs.
Well, he was the man for the job.
But he made it a very angry song. He could have made it a slower song. Why did you leave me? You know, like Leopard would have slowed it down. Big guitar intro. Kind of like, have you ever needed someone so bad vibes?
Yeah. Leopard would have made... That would have been
did you leave me so fast? You never gave me half a chance.
Yes.
You know, and they got their little rock twang to them.
I think they would do a good job of it.
Yeah.
Probably better
I'm seeing Leopard in...
Yeah, when is that?
Today.
Is it?
It's a month today. It's July 11th, I believe.
Are you excited?
I'm looking forward to seeing them. Hopefully I'll be able to see them clearly, more clearly than I can now. Though, like I was saying, my eyes have improved, but they're not normal. Like I still deal with blurriness and moments where I'm like, hold on, I need a second here. So hopefully I don't know if I'll have new glasses within a month. I don't know. But still, I can hear them, baby.
That's all you need. You can feel them in your soul.
Yeah.
Do you get tingly when you go watch them? Do parts of your body percolate that that normally wouldn't?
That normally wouldn't. Oh, thanks. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate being able to see them. And I mean that they're still going and touring. Okay, so their biggest album came out in 1987. Whether that's your favorite or not, that was their biggest album in terms of sales. So how many years ago was that already? 38?
Yeah, it's a
so
long
it's pretty
time.
cool. 38 years after that album, they're still touring and getting pretty large crowds.
That was Hysteria?
So I'm lucky. So Zip, I mean, his favorite band is Van Halen. Like, you don't see Van Halen in
they're a
Van
mess.
Halen anymore.
They're a mess.
Yeah, well, and Eddie died.
That's
So
true.
that didn't help either.
That kind of killed everything.
But
literally.
Yeah, so it's fun that they're still it's fun that they're still touring and that I get to see them.
It is cool. I appreciate bands like that because that's hard to do.
Well, and you know, they truly love doing it. They truly love doing it. Yes, I'm sure they love that.
Do you think we can get them on the show?
Well, we got to try. We got to try to get hold of somebody from that festival.
Yeah.
And see if we can, because now's the time to do it. Because they could do it I mean, they are touring, but maybe if we got somebody for even 10 minutes, that'd be incredible.
Would you be able to do the interview?
I would be nervous. Like, people ask me, do you get nervous for interviews? And I really don't. The Ben Stelter story is 100% true. I was nervous to interview Ben. The only time you get a little quote unquote nervous is if something's going wrong, but that's not really nerves. That's like, oh crap, I got to deal with maybe a crisis here.
Well, okay. We're putting it out into the universe that we want to get a member of Def Leppard
we'll have
on the
to
Reid
talk
Wilkins
to somebody
show.
from that festival.
I know, but you need to put it out there into the world.
Like, if I interviewed somebody from Def Leppard, I would be nervous because I'd want to make the most of every question.
Yeah,
you know?
I wouldn't say a word.
I'd have so many ideas.
I would just sit here like this.
I remember, I remember like several years ago, maybe probably 10 at least, maybe more. Like, I was working at Ched and I saw on Twitter that Joe Elliott, the lead singer of Def Leppard, was going to be on Jim Rome. So I went to the Jim Rome site and streamed it. And they probably did a 40-minute interview.
Ooh.
Because I think they were playing like Buffalo or somewhere. Where's Rome based? I don't even know.
Rome's out of L.A.
Is he out of L.A.? But for some, they were playing some American city, so it probably worked out for them. And look, it was a lot of questions that I knew the stories and the answers to. Well, you know, okay, so let's say for argument's sake, let's say the interview was 10 years ago. It might have been a little longer. So let's say it was around 2010, okay? So the drummer lost his arm in like 1985. But Jim Rome's asking, what was it like having your drummer lose his arm and come back to the band? And Joe Elliott's probably been asked that question 400 times, probably more, that told this. But Joe's totally engaged. And Rome was into it, and they asked a lot of interesting questions. And I remember at the end of the interview, Rome was like, all right, sorry, we've missed 3 commercial breaks, but I wasn't cutting that short. You're gonna hear a lot of commercials in the next 20 minutes because we got to make up on them. But man, oh man, that was like, if we got somebody from Def Leppard on, that would be a career highlight.
Do you think you'd be able to ask them a question they've never been asked?
I don't know. Like, I probably would ask something a little more obscure, maybe about a lyric or a certain part of a song, like who came up with that or who was that idea. The risk with asking those, however, are they may legitimately not remember.
Right.
So, but I think, okay, so if you have somebody from Def Leppard on, what do you remember with Edmonton? Like, do all the concerts blend together? What's it like? I would ask, how does performing live now compare to performing live? Because they're in their 60s. How does performing live now compare to 30 years ago? Like, is the thrill the same? Do you appreciate it more? Like, how would you compare that?
Great question.
You know, how do they deal with the travel? How do they deal with being away from their families? Are you still, you'd ask, are you still looking to write new music? Is there another album that you still want to pump out someday? How do you market your music now to trying to get somebody to buy a tape or a CD as opposed to just, for the love of God, download this song and listen to more than the first 15 seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. Those are things that come to mind.
Well, let's get on
There'd
it.
probably be some songs or things that I like. I would like. There is one lyric I would specifically ask about, but I don't want to say what it is.
You're saving it for the interview.
Yeah, I'm saving it for the interview. Matt Hyman says, I would ask, have you ever had a gas bubble? I don't know if a member of Def Leppard's has had a retinal detachment. They've had some health and...
Wouldn't be that'd be cool if
Vivian Campbell is the guitar player who replaced the guitar player who passed away. He had lymphoma, I think, a few years ago.
Huh.
So they've been through some stuff. But I think at this point, and I feel this way too, even if it's a genre of music that I don't like, there's a point where you admire longevity. You know, like, is Garth Brooks not still going?
Absolutely.
I guess it was 8 years ago he cranked out all those shows at Rogers Place and sold out everyone. I mean, you got to admire that. Like, I admire the fact that Leopard is still going. And you got to do the work. Like, you still got to sell yourself. How's that? Too much?
Can't wait.
Too much Leopard, probably.
Nope. Can't wait. We just got to find out who to talk to. Right?
Well, there'll be someone with the festival that'll maybe tell us, and they might say, I can send this to somebody. They probably won't reply, and we'll say, just send it anyway.
Send it anyways.
I can't read that. Zip sent me a bit of a naughty message about Def Leppard. All right. What were we going to talk about here? By the way, you can text us 780-218-9999. River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the kitchen restaurant. All you can eat surf and turf for just $59.99 every Friday from 4 to 10 p.m. You want to do the? Yeah, let's. Well, we got to plug ourselves here.
Sure.
Def Leppard's got to promote themselves. We got to do it too. By the way, 8 clicks away from double word of the day. 8 thumbs up on YouTube. If you haven't liked the show, get in there and do it now. What do we have?
Well, Reid, this goes back to when you and I first met one-on-one to talk about our show. And we were setting up how it's going to go, what it's going to look like. That was at Smitty's, right? Smitty's Westmount.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Right?
Was that the first time we were ever alone together?
Yeah.
Well, that's where I forgot to pay.
That's right.
And you paid.
We talked about, okay, what are some ideas for segments? And I think this was one of the first ones that came to me because I've always appreciated this. And what I'm talking about is the athlete of the week.
Yeah.
I know when I was young and up and coming, they used to have an athlete of the week. Of course, the landscape of media has changed and coverage on local sports just isn't what it used to be.
Correct.
And I understand. I don't love it. I don't like it. We certainly try to talk as much local stuff as possible. The Hangout does a great job of that as well. So that was something I put on our list a long time ago to get the athlete of the week on the Reid Wilkins show.
Right.
And lo and behold, it's happening. So we announced it earlier. We put out a post from Edmonton Sports Talk on our socials, on Twitter. And we found the partner that is just fits the bill perfectly, and that is Pasta Pantry out of Sherwood Park.
Oh, excellent.
Nathan and his team are very passionate about local sports. I mean, when I was in junior high school, that was the place we'd go to for our pregame meal. Like if you were having a pregame meal, it was Pasta Pantry. They have now embodied that. They are the official home of the pregame meal. And I couldn't think of a better partner to do it with. So here's how it's going to go. We're going to do a weekly athlete of the week on this show, presented by Pasta Pantry. It's really simple. You can either go to edmontonsportstalk.com. If you scroll down there, you'll see a submission form. You could submit name, who you're nominating and why. Or if you really want to make it easy, just email me, jay@edmontonsportstalk.com. I want to, and so the person that wins that week is going to be highlighted on this show. We're going to hopefully interview said person on this show.
Right.
So I want it all. I want the 6-year-old that just won a soccer tournament over the weekend or won their league. I want the 22-year-old that just got a scholarship offer to go play sports somewhere in Canada or US. I want everything in between. If you feel there's a coach that you feel should be recognized for all the hard work they've put in, send that in too. And you're going to get a prize package from Pass the Pantry. But I just love it because it's just something that I think needs to be part of this station.
Yeah.
And particularly our show.
I think it's important to do this, and I'm glad we're doing it. And a big thanks to Pass the Pantry for coming on board. And I've been doing this long enough, and people know, like, the Oilers drive the sports discussion and the sports coverage in this market, which is great. It's awesome to have a team like that. Like I was mocking how people mock Edmonton. Oh yeah, people cheer for the Oilers because there's nothing to do there. I said, no, that's not true. People cheer for the Oilers because they're passionate. You would never say, oh, the Yankees only have a big following because there's nothing to do in New York. It's truly special. And I think if the Elks get better, there'll be, a surge for that. But we have our minor pro teams, like the Stingers and Riverhawks and teams like that have a following. And then there are a lot of great stories out there. And that's, ultimately, what is this job? Well, it's storytelling. And I don't mean fictional.
Yes.
I mean, it's like, what's the story of the game? What's the story for the Oilers today? Well, we talked about that off the top. They weren't supposed to practice, and they practiced. So we talked about that from a few different angles. Okay, is it the hugest deal ever? But no, it's a story today. Tomorrow, we'll get ready for the game. But there's no better story than a personal story. And I feel that from, when I was on Ched and now that I'm here, I think to some extent I was more willing to go there than maybe some other people have. And trust that I'm going to bring somebody on, I'm going to ask them questions, maybe I'll bring something out of them. And I know this from experience because I wouldn't keep wanting to do it if I thought it kept falling flat. And as I said, as much as there's one big team and some other teams that drive the discussion, a year from now, nobody's going to see me walking through Kingsway Mall and come up to me and say, hey, I remember that day you said that the Oilers' power play was 24.2% in the last 10 games. That's important stuff, and it's very relevant to people, but someone might come up to you and say, and I know this because it's happened, I loved when you had that running back on who plays bantam football in Whitecourt. Or love when you had, we have had Alexis Kubicki on, the amateur, the boxer, who's making a name for herself. So, and I think that's what I want to remind the audience out there. When you hear those stories, you may think, oh, I wonder why they're doing this. Like, it's not Oilers. We do it because we believe you're actually going to remember it. We do believe that it might, and I know this sounds hokey, but I believe it might inspire you. Or it might be another thing that makes you think, God, Edmonton's a really cool place to live.
Exactly.
We got the Oilers, and we got this other great stuff, and we got this amateur club that churned somebody out. I mean, I remember talking, like, Chuba Hubbard could have been an athlete of the week. I remember interviewing him when he committed to Oklahoma State. Didn't know for sure what he was going to be.
Yeah.
People like that. So great for Pass the Pantry for stepping up. Great for you, Jay, for the work you do, getting that stuff as well, because I'm just the hair and teeth, really.
Well, I want to have the, like I said, a 6-year-old on here that we're interviewing, or a 12-year-old that won their football, won the Rookie of the Year, and why this is important to them. And I was a recipient of an Athlete of the Week at one point. I still have the watch that I got from it. I still remember that interview. Kevin Carius.
Oh,
with ITV.
Nice.
Those things stick with you as a young athlete, and it's just nice to be recognized at that, because you're right. It is Oilers. That's conversation, and that's part of the reason we're doing this too. It's because it's not Oilers. It's something else. It's something directly in this community from somebody that lives here, competes here, and I expect that we're going to have, like you said, some unbelievable stories come out of it, and we're going to have fun with it. And yeah, you get a gift certificate to Pass the Pantry,
which is delicious.
Who doesn't like that?
Don't eat the gift certificate.
Don't eat it.
So, how do people nominate somebody?
Yeah, so you can go to EdmontonSportsTalk.com, scroll to the bottom. There's a submission form there. It's just it's a very generic
internet
submission form
type thing.
I'll get it, my eyes on it. Or if you'd like, email me personally, Jay@EdmontonSportsTalk.com. And we'll get those flowing in. We're going to have the first athlete of the week at some point next week.
Oh, we're having one next week already?
We're rocking and rolling, baby.
I better get my interviewing chops up to speed.
You better.
I will have my chops for doing word of the day will be tested in about half an hour, a little less than that, because we do have a double word of the day thumb up total on YouTube of 156. We can make a furious push here to get to 200 by the end of the show. Let's not wait. If you haven't clicked, get in there and do so. Share the link with somebody else. Ask them for a thumb up as well. Got a limerick here emailed to me from Jeff in YYZ. Oilers fans with an extra day funk, Game 4 focus on more than one punk. Other sport highlight loops. Tonight, why not some hoops? OKC or Indy with the dunk. Not bad. Do you want to do VR? You didn't do VRs, did you?
We didn't do VRs yet. Let's do it.
Who's calling himself today Victorious Roulette Montenegro. Well, he's luckier than some people.
Coach Knoblauch is a master of off-day deception. Little media on site for practice perception. Reporters are crying because of the lying. Do you know who caught the immaculate reception?
Franco Harris.
Franco Harris of your Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right. Good stuff. And go to Edmonton Sports Talk. So the Athlete of the Day nomination form is there already?
It's on.
Or Athlete of the Week, sorry?
Yeah, it's if you scroll to the bottom, it's the submit it at the bottom of the EdmontonSportsTalk.com page. I've already had somebody send me a message saying, this is who I think you should nominate and this is why. So I'm going to ask them to email me
a
little bit more information. No.
In the Nazi chat, I nominate myself for all the hard work I put into drinking beer on this playoff run. Easy nomination received and rejected. That is pretty funny, though. All right, 780-218-9999 is the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the kitchen restaurant. All-you-can-eat prime rib buffet for just $49.99 every Sunday. That is from 4 to 10 p.m. Double word of the day coming up. We will get fired up for Gemco, and here comes the Coop.
On the court, Indiana hosts OKC as they clash in Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Tip-off for that one is at 6:30 with the series even after 2. In baseball, the Jays beat the Cards 5-2, with Toronto sweeping their 3-game series. A trio of games are live right now. Baltimore up 2-0 on Detroit in the bottom of the 3rd inning, while the Mets lead the Nationals 1-0 entering the 2nd. We also see Tampa trailing by a run in the bottom of the 1st. And the Riverhawks are 5-2 facing the Falcons at 6:35. Edmonton picking up a 4-1 win in their series opener last night with Kelowna 2-8 on the season. And Energy City is also in action. They're 3-6, dropping their last 5 as they challenge the Giants in Fort McMurray. Out east, Drew Brown of the Red Blacks will not dress this week with an apparent hip injury reported by 3 Down Nation Matt Schiltz takes the start for Ottawa as they visit Montreal on Friday. This sports update is brought to you by Clover Bar Feeds. Clover Bar Feeds has all the animal feed you'll need. Get top-notch service and selection from their family-owned business. Visit Clover Bar Feeds at 200 Portage Close in Sherwood Park, or call them at 780-467-5014. More with Reid Wilkins and Jay Milne after a brief intermission. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you up to date.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric.
Jamie McLennan with us on the show this morning.
You look at the glaring errors that the Oilers have given up, and that's 4 breakaways in the last 2 games. Usually you give up 1 breakaway maybe every 5 games. They gave up 3 2 games ago, and then last game, 1 to Bennett. Stuart Skinner hasn't made a save on a breakaway.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric, presented by South Ford Chevrolet. Weekday mornings 6 to 9, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Strike up some fun at the Banquet Bar. Bowling, drinks, and a great time with friends where the good times roll. Whether you're here to bowl or just hang out, the Banquet Bar is your go-to spot. Get real, play hard at the Banquet.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino proudly presents Ian Munsick. July 5th, live in the venue. Country fans, you don't want to miss an evening with Ian Munsick, a stampeding, spirited celebration of romance, ranch life, family, and forever young fun. Tickets on sale now at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Keep your team jersey and Raleigh towel close by and help bring the championship home. For all your other treasures, store them with Sentinel Storage. Store Canadian. Try 4 weeks free at sentinelstorage.ca. Proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
Must you click? Click. Must you click?
All right, thanks a lot for joining us this afternoon. Along with Jason Milne, I'm Reid Wilkins, Edmonton Sports Talk, presented by Play Alberta. Gaming made easy anytime, anywhere. With Play Alberta, you've got a full casino experience right at your fingertips. Play from your phone, tablet, or computer, whatever works for you. Download the Play Alberta app today. Get started with a $50 casino bonus. Just deposit $20 with the promo code EST Casino. Play smart, play local. And remember to use your game sense. All right, let's do... So this was... I got to cue it up here. There are people in the hockey... All right, so this is part of my... Was it a rant? I don't know if it was a rant. I think it was just passionate commentary.
I agree.
This was... So my premise was... It seemed like... Now, again, it was a story. We tell stories. Part of the story of Game 3 was that there was a lot of nasty play in the third period, much of it initiated by the Oilers. That was a story. It was worth talking about. I felt that a lot of perhaps media people who should know better were talking about it as if, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. And my point was, this actually happens all the time. Yes, it's the Stanley Cup final. It's happened in the Stanley Cup final before. And I pointed out Florida probably would have done the same thing. And they have some pretty nasty players of their own. So here's a portion of that from yesterday. There are people in the hockey world feeling sorry for Brad Marchand because he had to play a game against the Edmonton Oilers. Like, is this what has happened in this instant reaction world? That we have Twitter and we have things to instantly express our outrage without considering history and context? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you something. If I were to list every playoff game that I've seen decided by 3, 4, 5 or more goals, in which a team has, quote unquote, tried to goon it up in the final 10 to 15 minutes, this entire 3-hour show would just be me reading a list of those games. But all of a sudden, it's like, oh my God, what were the Oilers doing? Oh my God, poor little Sam Bennett. He just got over polio and now Trent Frederick is cross-checking him. What is going on? He was Tiny Tim in the school play. For the love of God, what are you doing? Do you know how long it took Gazdic to grow that beard? And now Darnell Nurse has got blood all over it. This poor Florida team. Do you know how hard it is just for them to make the ice for their arena? And now the Oilers are coming in there and putting blood all over it. I can't watch it anymore. I can't watch it anymore. Like, it's absurd. It's absurd that people cover sports and watch hockey and who watch hockey are reacting this way. All right. So that was the crux of. By the way, I don't think Sam Bennett ever had polio. I hope nobody's like, oh, I'm going to Google that. Like the people at Google are like, why is everybody Googling Sam Bennett polio?
Why is Sam Bennett polio trending?
I have to work in the Tiny Tim reference. I don't know. I just found that funny. So this is, and I'm going to continue this. Well, I'm going to continue that. I have some other things in that same general ballpark. Fired up for Gemco Fireplaces. Proudly serving Edmonton and area for 45 years, the authorized dealer for Napoleon Fireplaces. Whether it's gas or wood burning, look no further than Canadian-made Napoleon Fireplaces. All the Napoleon products you need are available at Gemco, 9281 50th Street. Okay, so that was fun. It's fun doing stuff like that. There's always a part of me that is not hesitant to do it, but I'm still cognizant of like, okay, I don't like going really over the top all the time because I do think it can get old, and I do like to pick my spots with it. Obviously, I didn't write that. Like we knew that I was going to do something and that I had some ideas. The polio stuff and Tiny Tim and all that stuff with the voice, that was spur of the moment, which was fun to do. And I fully get, and you know this, Jay, just in the short time you've been doing this job, but you've been a radio sports listener for a long time. I know some people will hate that, and I accept that. My humor, the stuff we do, is not always for everybody, or some people just won't like the opinion, or quite frankly, some people won't understand what I'm saying, and which is fine. Everybody looks at things a different way. But I'm also fired up about some other media people who cover teams who have been eliminated by the Oilers or whose teams didn't even make the playoffs, who are like spending time on social media, like attacking and actively cheering against the Oilers. Now you may say, well, hold on, Reid, like you've criticized Brad Marchand. You know, in part of my rant yesterday, it wasn't Plato there. I called him a maniac. I called him one of the dirtiest players ever, which I think is true. But when I say that stuff, I back it up. Like I try to say, I have a personal opinion on a player or team, and here is why I feel this way as an observer, whether somebody feels that way or not, right? I don't view that. It might be a form of trolling, but it's not full on, well, I'm just going to hate another team because they're a rival. So I think that there is, I do think that there's a line, and I wouldn't, if there's a dirty team, I might say that that's a dirty team, and here's why. But I also say things, hey, Leon Draisaitl can play a pretty cheap, dirty game himself when he gets pissed off. I just got to make observations. I do think in this role, Jay, here's what I'm going to say. It's an honor to speak to the audience. Sometimes the show can be a little bit better when we speak with the audience. And sometimes in this position, it's an honor and a responsibility to speak for the audience. And when I did that yesterday, I felt, screw what people outside the market might think. If this reaches that, it probably wouldn't. I mean, we just got a fun little show here with 14 listeners. But I thought this is something Oilers fans, even if they haven't thought of it themselves, they're going to hear this and be like, yeah, right. Like the Oilers aren't this big bully team. They did something normal. Why is everybody picking on us? So that was kind of my thinking behind doing something like that. Now, there's a contrast, I think, with what I did. And obviously, when I talk about myself, I'm biased, everybody. I admit that. but I saw somebody who covers a team that would be considered a rival of the Oilers. I don't want to use the person's name or whatever. But after the game on Monday, he had a screen cap of the end of the game when Perry's trying to punch Mikkola, and Mikkola's turned away and laughing. And we talked about that. Of course Florida's going to do that. We would want the Oilers to do that in this situation. Yep. You and I fully recognize it depends on your point of view, and we try to take also big picture, how do things usually happen. But this, and also, Jay, I think if you're putting something on Twitter, you're doing something more to make a point, because there's no tone of voice. If there is sarcasm, it doesn't come across. You're trying to get clicks, and you're trying to be, oh, look at me. Whereas I feel like in spoken word, we can be a little more casual. We're a little more like, well, we're going to say things. Not everything is meant to stick or last for 10,000 years. But if you're tweeting something, you know, you're trying to be a troll. Like you're trying to get noticed, you know? So this person put that picture up of Perry and Mikkola and put, I'm going to buy a Mikkola jersey now. And I just thought that was an incredibly unprofessional, over-the-line thing to do. You know, and I get it. I criticize players. I criticize situations. I might take little jabs or whatever. But if you're tweeting that, like it would be different to say that on a show. Like if you're a host in that market, which this person is, I'm not going to say what market, and they're talking about that, and you're kind of joking with your colleague saying, oh, yeah, man, well, I guess I got to run out and get a Mikkola jersey. It comes across different. As opposed to you tweeting that, you look like kind of an unprofessional baby, I think. To the point that if I was ever asked to go on this person's show again, I would probably say no.
Wow.
Or you know what? Or I would say, okay, you know what? You've had me on your show before. Are you having me on to talk about the Oilers and analyze what they're doing? Or are you going to back up what you're doing on Twitter and just come at me as an Oilers hater and attack me as, well, I'm not even an Oiler, but, you know, and attack me as, I guess, a big bad person because I cover the team and talk about them. What are you going to do? Like, are you going to stick with the shtick or are you going to back down from it?
That would be interesting to see. I would imagine that somebody like would in that position would probably back down quite aggressively.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just how. And look, and maybe I went down a bit of a Twitter rabbit hole. Like I saw some LA, I don't even know how I found it, some LA TV sports anchor. Like for ever since the Oilers got eliminated by the Kings, all he does is post like Stuart Skinner sucks, Stuart Skinner's a baby, Stuart Skinner, you know, is trying to draw a penalty. And I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you proving? Okay, once might be funny if you say something clever. Like I might tweet a cheeky little thing or whatever. But if you're just doing it all the time, it's like, okay, so that's your personality. That's the best you can come up with to talk about a hockey game is pick one player off a team that you don't even cover and you're sour because that team beat the team you covered. I just find it odd.
Sour grapes, eh?
Yeah. Swuzzy wants to know if you coach flag football.
I do.
The Packers.
Correct.
Okay. Mystery solved, Swuzzy. He's must be. Maybe he's a rival coach who wants to come after you.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I'm so sick of Milne.
Check out my playbook.
I'm so sick of Milne.
The Packers have been good this year. Huge game this weekend against the Colts.
Is this the last game of the season? No, that's next weekend.
I think next weekend is the end.
JJ says, come on, Oilers, let's win game 4. Fans would go insane for game 5, for sure. Smitty says, rent-free in their heads, Reid. Well, yeah, and that's another thing. If you're posting a lot about something you dislike, I'm like, why don't you find something you like and engage with that?
Well, it's easier,
I guess.
And it's more clickable, like you said.
Yeah, maybe. Dangler, I don't want to identify the person. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just an observation. Maybe I said too much as it was. Maybe I'm a bad man. I could be a bad man.
Well, sometimes, yeah. Sometimes
I'm a really bad man.
Yeah.
Like when I'm playing Cuba on the Super Volleyball game I discovered on the Classic Arcade machine. So I discovered, I'm also fired up about this. I still love track and field. I've discovered a game on the Classic Arcade machine called Super Volleyball.
Oh, has he ever?
And I used to play this at the Evansburg Arcade against my buddy Ernie, who was also a volleyball player in high school. And the sets start tied at 11. So when you play the computer, you have to get to, it's the 15. So it starts off, you're Japan against Cuba, and they're quite easy to beat. and then you play Japan against China, but you start down 11-10, and then you play Japan against the USA, and you start down 11-9.
Yeah,
I have yet to make it. The U.S. is good.
It's a load of crap.
U.S. is good. Well,
Why you start down?
The guy digs up stuff that he has no idea digging up.
Well, figure it out.
So the first level, Cuba, you spike it at them, and they kind of just stand there. And then the U.S. guy, it's like it's 80 feet away from him, and he digs it up. That fires me up.
I think it's up to you to figure it out, Reid.
Now Swuzzy wants to know, who do you think is going to win the NBA Finals? I'm taking the Pacers.
You are?
They're better in close games, and I think they play harder defense.
They've come back in games
I really don't know.
every series once.
Swuzzy, ask us some more random questions.
Yeah,
I don't
keep
think
it
we've ever
coming.
seen Swuzzy in the chat before.
I'm on OKC.
Is that a buddy of yours?
I have no clue.
Keep clicking the thumbs up if you're in the chat on YouTube. We need 24 thumbs. That's it. We've started a rally here. Let's build up to 200. Double word of the day coming up. Of course, we are in the Canadian Brewhouse studio. Spin to Win Fridays at the Banquet Studio, which is partnered with Canadian Brewhouse. Spin the wheel for a chance to win big and save on your bill. Details at thebanquetbar.com. Coob, go ahead.
Game 3 of the NBA Finals goes tonight with the Thunder clashing with the Pacers. That series is tied at 1 apiece. Tip-off at 6:30. Earlier, the Jays got by the Cardinals 5-2 to sweep their 3-game series. Toronto getting set to play Philadelphia on Friday. Right now, 4 games are live. 2 other games about to get underway. Nationals down 1-0 to the Mets in the second. Well, the Red Sox and Rays are tied at 1 apiece in that same inning. On the way, it's Rangers and Twins just getting underway. Yankees and Royals are warming up. And the Riverhawks are also in action, playing the Falcons in Kelowna. Edmonton winning 4-1 in their series opener yesterday. First pitch goes at 6:35. Meanwhile, the 3-6 Cactus Rats look to snap a 5-game losing streak against the Giants as they face Fort McMurray. The final segment of the Reid Wilkins Show is what brings us back on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you can afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a ninja fighting off evil samurai.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
Are we going, Coop? Are we on? Oilers had a well-attended optional practice today. 16 players on the ice, including McDavid and Draisaitl. Well, maybe a lineup change tomorrow.
Yeah, we will have likely a lineup change. We haven't confirmed that. We haven't discussed that with our players yet, but there are some things that we've been thinking about, and there might be a lineup change.
All right. Maybe Stetcher in for Klingberg. That's what we are guessing. So they got the morning skate tomorrow. I wonder how many people take part in the morning skate now. If people skated today that we didn't think were going to skate. I don't know.
It'll be quite the story.
The drama builds. Well, they aren't skating Friday because they're all flying back.
Correct.
And then probably the morning skates on Saturday will be quite well attended for Saturday's game.
Most likely.
So 6. Well, I guess the games are starting when about 20 after 6. So tomorrow, live stream resumes with the Nielsen Show at 6 a.m., taking you through until 6 p.m. And what we're going to do tomorrow is we'll jump off the air at 5, so Tom and Hernan can take over with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show from 5 to 6 from Hudson's on Bourbon Street in West Edmonton Mall. And then they'll be on after the game as well as the Oilers try to even up the best of 7 Stanley Cup final. So NBA game, what are we in the NBA? Game 3 tonight?
Game 3. In Indiana.
Right. And they've been using the 2-2-1-1-1 now for a few years, right? They were 2-3-2 for the longest time in the finals.
Yeah. OKC.
Yeah.
Jay's play of the day. To win by 5 or more points. Boosted to minus 112.
I don't know. Maybe the Pacers take this one tonight.
You would say that.
Yeah. I'm a bit of a contrarian.
I have other words for that.
Need 20 thumbs. Let's go. Click, click, click. Oh, fine. Fine, I'll play it, everybody. I'll play it.
Click, click, click. Must you click? Please, please click. Must you click? You must click. Thumb, thumb, thumb.
All right.
The word of the day
on
Reid
YouTube.
and Jay.
Double word of the day. To wind it up.
What do they got to say?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you.
Let's find out.
English, do you speak it? Then you know what I'm saying.
We got a late limerick that came in from Library Pat.
Oh, excellent.
In the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. They say Stuart Skinner is Mr. Game 4. He'll be more than ready to slam the door. Sam Bennett will scold, and Barkov's stone cold. Stewie Skins will be dialed in for sure.
Okay. Sure and 4 being rhymed?
That's a stretch. I had to try and bend it a
For
bit.
sure. I think that's what he meant.
I had to bend it
Maybe
a bit.
the Oilers should sign Devon Shore.
Okay, first word of the day. Galactoid.
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 It sounds like a game that we got on our classic arcade machine. I think I know how to spell it. Galactoid. Galactoid. So this is referring to something that is galactic in origin, like from outside of our solar system.
No, it's Gala in origin, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the
Greek
definition?
The Greek root of Gala, meaning
is something to do with a large...
No, I just can't say it or it would give away the word. It's not a dirty word or naughty word.
Well, I've already got the definition wrong, didn't I?
Oh, you just went ahead with that?
The galactoid, that was my definition. Something originating from outside of the solar system.
Oh, okay.
Something that is galactic.
Sorry. I thought you were just talking out loud.
Oh, no, that was my actual submission, Jay.
Okay, the plant-based shake had a galactoid texture, smooth and rich without a trace of dairy.
That's what galactoid means?
That's it in a sentence.
Smooth and... Oh, so it means...
The plant-based shake had a galactoid texture, smooth and rich without a trace of dairy.
It is something that is like vegan?
Milky or resembling milk. Galactoid.
Really?
Yes.
Milky or resembling milk.
Yeah, your eyesight was somewhat galactoidal after your eye surgery.
Well, yeah, I'll say. Okay, well, I did not know that that's what galactoid meant. So it has nothing to do with Galactus or the galaxy or outer space or inner space for that matter.
No. Second word of the day. Cattywampus. What? This is an
Say
adjective.
that again.
Cattywampus.
Oh, my pen's running out of ink. Done. My God. Caddwampus. Cattywampus. How do you spell that?
Cattywampus.
Oh, I had the T's to begin with, and then I changed it to D's. Did you see that? Look.
Oh, you should have trusted yourself.
I didn't trust myself. This means, hey, use it in a sentence. Cattywampus.
Use it in a sentence?
Yes, please.
Okay. Her filing system was all cattywampus, and no one in the office could find anything.
Disorganized to others, but making sense to one.
I'll give it to you. Crooked, askew, or out of alignment. It can also describe something that is going badly or in the wrong direction.
Well, I didn't get it. I got a half, maybe. Yeah. So crooked or askew?
Yes.
Okay, so game 3 went cattywampus for the Oilers.
Yeah. Precise.
I guess. All right. Oh, those were fun words, actually, even though I didn't do very well. All right, we're going to go keep clicking the thumbs up. We need 18 more thumbs to get to 200. You can still click here in the next couple of seconds. So we're back. The stream resumes at 6 a.m. with the Nielsen Show. Our show 3 to 5 tomorrow. And then at 5 o'clock, it's the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Big thanks to Zachary Kubish. That's the glue guy, Jason Milne. I'm Reid. Thanks for checking out the show.